is a beautiful day for racing in Fort Worth, where fans are filing into the Texas Motor Speedway to see the NASCAR Nationwide Series run 300 miles at the place that bills itself the Great American Speedway. Just up I-35 from downtown in the famed Fort Worth Stockyards, where the cattle drive is the thing, sits this sparkling track where the Stampede moves a little faster. Last time we saw the NASCAR Nationwide Series, Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch had themselves a short track shootout in Memphis, with Keselowski claiming the checkers and the Elvis Trophy. But here in Texas, it's Kyle who has dominated, winning the last 3 in a row at this track, and not just winning, but whipping the field. Time to saddle up. The NASCAR Nationwide Series is on the move at the Texas Motor Speedway.
10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown. One of NASCAR's fastest tracks stands ready to challenge 43 NASCAR Nationwide Series drivers as they go 300 miles at the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. Final practice for tomorrow's Sprint Cup Series race has just ended, and with 12 double-duty drivers in the field for the Nationwide Series, it's time for a quick debrief, change the uniform, grab a bite, and off to driver introductions. They will be just as busy behind the wheel when the green flag waves on this very fast track in a little while. As you look around the track right now, you'll see Sprint Cup Series cars being pushed back towards their garage, the pre-race stage being set as the Nationwide field is pushed to the grid, and our ESPN pit studio right in the middle of it all, where we always promise to steer you straight. Oh, man. Alan Bestwick, Rusty Wallace, and Brad Daugherty inside. Welcome to the show. No bull, we're going to see some fast racing today.
We will see some fast racing today, that's for sure. I mean, I can just feel the excitement in the air at this racetrack, guys. There is no doubt about that. I came into tunnel this morning. All the drivers are all jacked up. Everybody's pumped up. But one thing you got to watch at this track, it is fast, but that tricky turn 2 might jump up and bite some guys. We saw it in practice. There will be some wrecks there, and that's going to be the trick today in that race. Turn 2, I believe.
Yeah, when you talk to all the drivers, too, when you come to this racetrack, the sensation of speed is more prevalent than anywhere else. These guys are flat flying around this racetrack, and that turn 2, it can ruin your day.
It will be causing some people some grief throughout the afternoon. Now, while we wait for the Cup drivers to make the turn from practice, let's talk about what everybody was talking about a lot this week. The possibility that Danica Patrick competes in this NASCAR Nationwide Series next season, perhaps beginning as soon as the season opener for 2010 in Daytona Beach, Florida. NASCAR Now lead reporter Marty Smith joins us now. Marty, there have been a lot of reports and stories on this topic all week long. Can you kind of sum up for us where things stand?
Indeed, Alan. Multiple sources told me this week that Patrick will, in a few days, sign a contract with Junior Motorsports to go nationwide racing in 2010. Probably run some 12 or 13 races during the 2010 season. Where that debut will happen, we don't know. As you said, it could be Daytona, but that depends on whether or not NASCAR approves her. If not, look for her to debut in the Nationwide Series at Auto Club Speedway the following weekend. Junior himself was asked about this weekend. He said, yes, we have spoken with her. We are speaking with her. It's still the early stages. Nothing's done yet. We did catch up with several current Cup drivers this weekend here at Texas to see just what they think Patrick's impact on the sport will be.
There's two sides to Danica Patrick coming here. It's Danica Patrick, the brand and what she means in the world of motorsports, and then there's her on-track performance. Her coming to NASCAR could be huge for the sport, and her being successful here could be one of the greatest things that's happened in a long time.
I think she would tie in a lot more of the female fans, no doubt. To me personally, I see her as a driver. Whether it's a she or a he, it's a competitor.
It'll be nice because all the cameras and attention will be her way, and the rest of us will be able to walk around with nothing else going on.
It's going to require a lot of talent, I'll say that for sure, because the odds are against her and her sticking around and being successful.
Don't forget, guys, Patrick is committed to the Indy Racing League as well. She will run the full season there over the next several years. That leads some people to question how she could possibly manage both schedules. Well, sources close to this situation tell me that she will not run NASCAR between the start of the IRL season and the Indianapolis 500 next year. The reason they want her to be fully prepared for that all-important Indy 500 on the IRL side, Alan.
NASCAR Now lead reporter Marty Smith. Marty, thanks for the update. We appreciate it.
You got it.
So, should all this come to pass, as it appears it will, big picture, what's it mean for the series?
I think it means a ton for the series. Look, this lady driver is fantastic. I drove with her in the 24 Hours of Daytona one year, and she is so engaged in her car. She understands the car, she loves the race, and she wants to be in NASCAR. There is no doubt about that. I've talked to her personally about that. I hope she makes it, but when she gets here, she better be ready for it, because this is going to be one of the toughest things she's ever done in her life. I do know that.
Yeah, I think it would be tremendous for the sport. Even though the past couple of years we've heard the rumors of Danica possibly coming over here to race, I think it'd be outstanding as the sport tries to become more inclusive and less exclusive. I think it would be great from that standpoint. The problem would be the expectations placed upon Danica as she comes over here to race. I would like to see her have the opportunity to come race, and let's see how her skills translate. We've seen Dario Franchitti, Jacques Villeneuve, and Juan Pablo Montoya, and the struggles that they have had. It will be interesting to watch her if she can do it without the pressure.
If Daytona is her first stock car race, what kind of challenge will that be?
I mean, that'd be very, very difficult. With the bump drafting and the way these cars handle in the draft there at that racetrack, that's something that you have to go out and simulate through practice. It would be very difficult for her to just come over and jump into that race and go out and have any success. Would you agree, Rusty?
I do agree 100%, but one thing I want to do, man, I'm tired of all this talking. Is she going to race or not? Get her over here. Get in the seat, baby, let's go. I mean, she's a good driver. I want her here. I think everybody wants her here, but quit all this talking.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Get it done.
All right. Patrick racing in NASCAR would not be first. In fact, a woman competitor goes all the way back to the sport's beginnings.
That helmet.
Sarah Christian was the first back in June of 1949. Patty Moise has made the most NASCAR starts. She's got 133 in the Nationwide Series alone. The last woman in a Sprint Cup Series race, Shauna Robinson. That was in July of 2002.
Saw her win a Goodies Dash race at Asheville, North Carolina one time about 10 years ago.
Yes, she did.
Maybe 15 years ago.
So as the Cup drivers continue the quick turnaround, you see the cars being pushed to the grid. Jason Leffler, that 38 car, going to line up on the inside of row number 2. Great starting spot for him today. Let's take a look at the top 10 in the Nationwide Series standings with 3 races to go. And I want to point out in particular, Mike Bliss, 6th in points, just 59 away from 5th place Justin Allgaier, despite having lost his full-time ride in July and having to bounce around to 5 other cars over the last 3 months. Bliss makes his 4th start on the CJM Racing 11 car here from 10th spot. Dave Burns.
He has his best finishes of the year, a couple of seconds and a 4th in this race car, Mike. So when you buckle in to the 11, how much confidence does that give you?
I think it gives us all a lot of confidence here with this team. We been seem to clicking right now, and we're running real well here too. So I think we're pretty excited about this race. Even, I think we're just as good as Charlotte.
With all the bouncing around, Mike, have you thought about the points? Has that been your main motivation, or has it been just to keep yourself in front of everybody, showing what you can do?
It just, when I first got released, I didn't know what to do, and I was pretty down. But then I got thinking about, I just need to stay in the top 10. I need to claw and fight whatever I got to do to stay in the top 10. And then now, Chance sitting in 6th, I never thought I'd be in this position. But, if I wouldn't have got in this 11 car, I don't think I could have done it. But there's a lot of cars that, people let me drive, and I'm thankful for that just to get in this position. So it's been a screwy year, but so far it's ending well.
Just 59 points out of 5th. He can improve on that today. Shannon Spake.
Dave, the driver that is holding that 5th place in the points is Justin Allgaier. Right now, a fierce battle for 5th. How often do you look at the points?
I try not to. We always know where everybody's at in points, and you guys have it on TV every week. But at the end of the day, we've got to go out and give it everything we've got. The Verizon Wireless Dodge guys have done a great job all season long, and this isn't coming down to the last couple of races. I mean, this is coming down to the full season, and there's a lot of races we should have gotten more points at. So we put ourselves in this hole, and now we got to just try to conserve. We'd love to beat, everybody that we're racing against in points. But at the end of the day, Mike's been doing a great job and really coming hard. And Brendan's been really coming along on the Rookie of the Year program. So we're fighting tooth and nail for it. But we can't get too caught up in it, because the minute you do that, you'll really start losing the points. So we're just focused on getting as good a runs as we can week in and week out, and that's what we've got to do.
Now, speaking of the Rookie of the Year, that's another battle you're in. So Rookie of the Year, top 5. Do you need to get both of those before the end of the year to consider this season successful?
I don't think we need to get both of them to consider the season successful, but at the beginning of the year we sat down and we obviously said we wanted to finish as high up in points as we possibly could, and we would love to win Rookie of the Year. But when you look at the Rookie of the Year contenders this year, it's been a huge group of us. I think there were 6 or 8 of us that started out, more than we've had the last couple of years combined, pretty much. So, you know, Brendan's been on the Cup side. He's been on the truck side. You know, this is obviously first full year in a nationwide car, and you know, we've all had our high moments. We've all had our low moments, and you know, at the end of the day, to know that we got beat out for it, if we do, you know, we feel like we've done everything we could possibly do this season, and if we get it, that'll make it that much better to know that we beat those 6 or 8 other guys. So it's been a great season for us so far.
Justin Allgaier had a top 10 here at Texas earlier this season. That's exactly the kind of points day he needs again. Alan?
Okay, Shannon, thanks. Mentioned the Rookie of the Year standings. We take a look at those now. Justin leading, Brendan gone by just 10 points. A driver's best 16 finishes, plus some bonus points for things like top 5s and top 10s decide that award. And again, just 3 races to go in the 2009 campaign. We are getting ready to go racing at the Texas Motor Speedway. All right, I want you to work with me on this one, Brad, okay?
I'm with you. Go ahead.
Who's going to be the lone star of this one? Who's going to move to the front? Here's an even better one. Ready? Who's going to be the hot shoe?
Oh, that's awful. That's just awful.
I'm driving home a point here. We're coming back.
Race number 32 of 35 is now green. Keselowski gets into Justin Allgaier and turns him. Keselowski gets into the back of Bliss, sends him up the track. Whoa! Oh, gets tapped from behind. Aggressive driving. We just saw it. 88 looking to the inside. Unbelievable restart for Brad Keselowski. You could just feel that he was getting aggressive. Does Kyle have anything left? Oh, and he turns it. He gets into him, but boy, he recovers and Keselowski wins.
Sorry we didn't get one spot better. I couldn't put it to myself to spin him out. If it is that that's how we're going to race, then that's how we'll race. And if he wants it to be exciting for the fans, I can make it exciting.
The harder you race and the rougher you race, the more rewarded it seems like.
Brad Keselowski, the most recent Nationwide Series race winner 2 weeks ago at Memphis, got something new on his plate this weekend. He has taken over the Penske 12 car on the Sprint Cup side beginning this weekend. That was Brad getting ready for Cup final practice a little earlier, trying to get settled with his 2010 team while still finishing out 2009. Certainly Brad's star has risen during 09, winning 4 times in the Nationwide Series, some of which came after some aggressive driving, which has earned Brad the admiration of some and left others giving him kind of a rap. Let's talk about Brad Keselowski now. His aggressiveness. We're hearing other drivers start to grumble a little bit. Problem or not?
I think it could be a little problem for Brad. He's got to be careful out there. You know, everybody likes to see an aggressive driver. At least I do. I mean, the guy is really fun to watch. But one problem I keep seeing here with Brad is that when he gets aggressive, he seems like he always spins somebody out. And I don't know if it's a mistake or he's too aggressive or whatever. But some of these drivers are really getting upset. But last week was a pretty low point for Brad Keselowski. He took out Mark Martin and Kurt Busch, 2 chase guys in the chase, and that didn't sit well with a lot of people.
See, I think Brad Keselowski has already established himself as a hard-nosed race car driver, and he's getting the results that he wants. He wants to win races. So I think as a competitor, when you look up and you see that 88 in the mirror, you just better pull them shoulder belts a little tighter. If he caters to his opponents, wanting him to do what they want him to do, then he's at their mercy. He can't do that. So that's just the way he's going to race, and you know when you're around him, what you get.
He's got 4 trophies this year in the Nationwide Series, that's for sure. Now, his first weekend working with his next year Penske Racing team, has it taken any of the focus away from the 88 Nationwide car this weekend?
I really don't think so, and I think because Brad is a young race car driver and he's very eager to do both. If you look at his statistics, you know, when he's done double duty, he has an 8th place finish in the Nationwide Series, and when he doesn't, he's around a 6th place finish. So for right now, I think it's okay because he's really looking towards next year with his Cup ride.
I don't think him running this 12 car, these next 3 races, is going to hurt his effort whatsoever. I do know his main focus needs to be that 88 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's had a great run this year. The kids look fantastic in the car. He needs to stay focused and close the year out with those guys before he worries about next year.
Keselowski lines up 7th for this one today, Vince.
Well, let's find out. Let's ask Brad whether it's a distraction at all to be in that 12 car on the Cup side already, getting ready for 2010 and still trying to focus on what you've got to get done in the 88 machine.
Well, obviously, the more you add to your platter, the more it's going to be a distraction. But the key part of it is that it adds something, too. For everything that the Nationwide Series takes away from the Cup effort, I feel like it adds back to it. And being able to have some additional track time, I got to run the high line, got to practice my pit stops today, and or getting onto pit road. So, you know, for everything it takes away, it adds something somewhere else. And that's the way I view the Nationwide Series and why it can be helpful.
It's a thin line between aggressive and too aggressive. You've heard some of the criticism in regards to your driving. What's your reaction to whether or not you've been too aggressive or not, as some have claimed?
You know, I felt bad about getting in the back of Carl, but, you know, I think if you look back at my track record for the last 2 years, it's not like I've been running over everybody for the last 2 years. It's just kind of a sequence of events, you know, that just kind of happens to blend together. I felt bad about Carl, like I said, and running him over last week at Memphis. Certainly didn't want to see that. But, you know, a lot of it's racing and putting yourself in positions where, you know, if a mistake happens, there's going to be a wreck, and I've done that a lot lately. And I'll probably back it down a little bit more. But, you know, things happen, and that's why racing's great. If you're not willing to be aggressive, I don't think you belong here. I think this sport needs you to push and to challenge yourself, and you know, we're not coming here to finish second, that's for sure. We're doing all we can do to win with the Degree Chevrolet today at Texas.
Always keeps it exciting. Alan?
Right, Keselowski again lining up 7th for this one. Vince, thank you much. Now, Joey Logano has been one of the guys that's been a frequent visitor to victory lane in the Nationwide Series this year. He's won 5 times. In all but one of those races, his teammate Kyle Busch ran second. Now, Logano's got a new crew chief here this week since Dave Rogers was named Kyle's crew chief on the Cup side. Logano and Kyle recently appearing on WWE's Monday Night Raw. Each playing a part in the night show. They made the grand entrance, doing some donuts in the parking lot before roaring into the arena, playing to the crowd, having fun with the wrestlers. It was a big night.
Looked like they had a really good time, but Joey Logano in a wrestling ring just doesn't add up, doesn't match up. I mean, that cat right there looks like he could eat him.
Can Logano wrestle another win today, Jamie?
Well, he's representing the WWE here, and you know, we came up with a nickname for him, Game Stopper. It's Joey Logano, the Game Stopper. We have Jerry Lawler, the King, here joining us. We'll talk to you in just a second. Joey, what makes you think you can put the smackdown on your biggest competitor, Kyle Busch, and the rest of the guys?
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty cool. They got me this this belt here and everything, my name engraved, so it's a pretty neat thing they did for me. But we'll have to see. The GameStop Toyota today, we are struggling big time, and we're starting in the back, and I don't know how much better we are than that. So we're going to have a long day ahead of us, and we're going to be swinging for the fence as the first pit stop. So hopefully we can get the SmackDown GameStop Toyota up front.
All right, Jerry, you could see Joey. He doesn't have a whole lot of meat on his bones. Do you think he has the car to compensate for that power?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you know, we saw these guys a couple of weeks ago at Monday Night Raw. Joey and Kyle came in and guest hosted the show. They did a tremendous job there. They brought their cars. They did the burnouts in the parking lot and actually drove their cars into the arena. So if he drives today like he did at Monday Night Raw, it's a winner.
It was great entertainment. So, Joey, you have a car, pretty good car. You're not sure what you have yet. You got the belts here. How does this new crew chief stack up for this whole show?
We'll have to see. You know, me and Doug Hewitt actually worked together a little bit last year, and we'll have to see. You know, like I said, we struggled in practice trying to make this thing good, and we didn't get there. But you know, I know Jason Radcliffe, 18 guys, are helping us out a lot, and see if we get me and old Hurricane Hewitt up there.
All right, and we're going to see if Game Stopper can get there and put the cowboy hat on and sport the old belt. Alan.
All right, Logano starting 21st today, Jamie. Thanks. Our J-Ski News and Notes now documenting a lot of shuffling going on in the Nationwide Series, both for this week and next season. 19-year-old Texan James Busher to drive James Finch's #1 car today, plus next season. With John West Townley and sponsor Zaxby's going to moving to run for Richard Childress Racing next year. I know. As mentioned earlier, a lot of crew chief shuffling. Doug Hewitt now leading the Joe Gibbs Racing 20 car. Dan Deeringhoff back at the helm of the Richard Childress Racing 29 group. And Roush Fenway Racing has swapped its nationwide crew chiefs. Mike Kelly joins Carl Edwards' team. Dan Stillman moves to David Reagan's 6 car. A lot going on this week. So what's a new crew chief got to go through on his first weekend with a new driver? Tim Brewer in our Craftsman Tech Garage has been through that a time or 20. Tim?
I don't know about the 20, Alan, but the most important thing a crew chief can do is listen to his driver. He's got to put all the trust in him, believe in what he's telling him. When the words come across this radio, hey, I'm loose, that definition in his voice, that will define how much adjustment we need to make. Another thing, we've won races as a crew chief, so we have good notes, but you can't throw his notes away. The driver, he brings his likes and dislikes. To get acclimated, use the last 3 races in 2009 to get prepared for 2010. It just gives you time to get on the same page to make your 2010 2010 segment more productive.
What was that car doing again, Brewer?
Loose.
That's what I thought you said. All right, Tim, thanks. Let's talk about changing crew chiefs where Logano is concerned. Doug Hewitt, a veteran, worked with Joey sometime last year when Dave Rogers was under suspension. What's the challenge for them today?
I don't think they got any challenge whatsoever. I mean, every single time that 18 car, that 20 car unloads, they're right on. I mean, they always are winning or always running up front. Those Toyotas have been fast. And I believe that they come out of the shop right on. They never seem like they have a problem at the track. They're so prepared at the shop. And Doug Hewitt, like you said, he's a veteran. This guy knows how to get it done. I know him real well. Good guy. I don't think I have a problem at all.
The Roush crew chief swap. Mike Kelly now working with Carl Edwards. Can they make it work together enough on their first shot to get up front?
Oh, yes, they can. We saw it last year with Drew Blickensderfer. When he stepped on top of the toolbox right out of the gate, they won the first race. And Carl's had 4 different crew chief changes at Roush Racing in the Nationwide Series, and he's had a top 10 finish in each one of those. So he's very capable of getting his hot rod to victory lane.
A little extra effort going to be required to get that 60 car to the front today. We'll explain that in just a couple of minutes. Now, Jeff Burton was supposed to drive the Childress 29 car today, but Friday, while practicing his Sprint Cup car here, took a really hard shot into the turn 2 wall. Wow. Jeff says he feels good enough to race, but owner Richard Childress made the call to put him on the bench for today. So Casey Mears is in the 29 car. He'll start 14th, Shannon.
Well, the name on the suit says Jeff Burton, but nope, this is Casey Mears driving the 29. You know, when they said Jeff Burton was going to get out of the car, some might have thought that Clint Boyer would have been the obvious choice since he does share this ride. So how did this opportunity come about for you?
Well, I think they probably looked at Clint first, but you know, with changing his seat and going through all that, I could actually fit in Jeff's seat, so it worked out pretty good for me. I'm happy to be here. It's going to be fun to drive the Holiday Inn Chevrolet today. I haven't driven a nationwide race in a while, so I've been wanting to for a long time, and you know, it's an unfortunate way to get the ride, but I'm looking forward to having a good day today.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've been in one of these cars. We now have some restricted engines, and you didn't get any laps in practice. You did get some laps in qualifying. What's your biggest concern?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'm not too concerned, to be honest. Jeff said the car was pretty good. These cars seem to be, you know, a little bit easier to drive. It's been a while since I drove one, and I forgot how much easier they are to drive, you know, relative to what we've been driving. So it was just a lot of fun in qualifying, and I'm looking forward to just seeing what we have in the race. I'm sure it's going to be a little loose to start. A lot of these cars have to be loose to be fast. They tend to get tighter over the long run. So we'll see what we go. I'm looking forward to seeing what I'm going to have, and you know, hopefully having a car that can go to the front.
And if we get you in any more races, we'll have to get your own fire suit, little more fitted.
I'd like that. You know, I made it known pretty clear to the guys that I wasn't really in on that bet, you know, about the name staying on top of the door. So I didn't know if it could I could get a gimme on this one and get my name on top of the door, but it should be fun.
We'll go out and win. Maybe Casey Mears will have his name on the side of the 29. Alan?
Okay, Shannon, thanks again. Casey starting 14th today. There's always a big military presence at these NASCAR races, including here at Texas, where there's a big military presence throughout the state. Fort Hood is in Killeen, Texas, 148 miles away from this track. And today's pre-race ceremony will include a remembrance of the victims of the tragic shootings at Fort Hood on Thursday. The last 3 straight Nationwide Series races at Texas Motor Speedway have been won by the same guy, Kyle Busch, who's not only taken the trophy, he's dominated, leading almost 80% of the laps, including pacing 178 of the 200 laps in the race here back in the spring. Now, Kyle's already scored a win here this weekend, last night pushing past Ron Hornaday and leading the final third of the race in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series event. He won last night. Today he starts 6th, and he's with Dave now.
And he also is displaying the hardware that is a result of the WWE, and he'll be the one with the wrestling ring on his car today. Kyle, last night, though, you won the truck race. You're going for the triple here this weekend. How much does that victory push you toward maybe 4 in a row here in Nationwide?
Well, I mean, last night was last night. You know, today's another day. We got the Nationwide Series here, and you know, with our raw car, I think we're pretty good. We practiced not so much, but we threw some things at it that made the car better. So look forward to it today. Hopefully we've got a good car in the long run, which seems to win races here.
And let's go to Shannon.
Well, Dave, Carl Edwards working with the new crew chief this weekend. Mike Kelly coming over from the 6th team. So how would you rate the weekend so far with your new crew chief?
So far, it's been good. Dan Stillman's done a great job for us, and Mike Kelly is doing wonderful. Except for we had some sort of shock issues, so I guess we're starting in the back. And I was honestly really nervous. I thought Mike might have been caught cheating or something, and I thought Jack is going to get him, but it turned out that we had just some sort of issue with the air leaking out of a shock or something like that. So car's fast. Ortho Fusion's good. We'll start in the back.
luckily it's 200 laps, and you can run 2 or 3 wide here, and hopefully we'll go to the front.
Yeah, a lot of people look at the 60 team, and you've won races, you've competed for a championship. Why the change?
Well, when we made the change, we talked about that in the meeting. I mean, Dan Stillman and the guys, team-wide, not just our 60 team, we've had one of the most productive years, on record at Roush Fenway. We've won lots of races, scored tons of points. But we're at a point in the season where, if there's something we can try to make things better, we got to do it. And, David Reagan's up there running well. Our car's fast, and if this makes our team stronger, it's the right thing to do.
Well, we've seen Carl Edwards make his way from the back to the front many times this season, so we'll watch it one more time today.
And it will be interesting to see if Carl can get to the front and take a shot at the win. He's won from starting in the back this year already, we've seen. Kyle Busch can't clinch the championship here. Does the law of averages say pick somebody else today, or is Kyle still the man?
Kyle is still the man. We're going to stick with that WWE theme. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man, and you got to beat Kyle Busch at Texas.
Man, it's going to be hard to beat that cat here. There's no doubt about that. Wait a minute. So he's won 3 in a row. He won the truck race last night, and we're supposed to say, well, I don't know if he can get it done or not. I mean, this guy's got a 215-point lead. He's rocking and rolling right now. He is obviously the odds-on favorite in that fast Toyota he's got.
Yeah, I don't know. That law of averages, it's a pretty tough law to get around. Changing crew chiefs for Carl Edwards. I find that interesting with 3 races left to go in the season. This is something we've seen Jack Roush do before, but is that kind of there waving the white flag on the championship and saying, okay?
I don't believe so, because Carl Edwards is very good at this racetrack, and he's very competitive, and he has a great chance to win today as well as the races coming up. I think what they're doing, though, is getting prepared even for next year. This is a quickly evolving sport, and you have to be prepared once you get to Daytona to get out of the blocks, so you have to start preparing now.
That's a good answer, because I really feel that out a lot of the teams. And you look at the number 12 car with Penske, with Keselowski getting with 3 to go, and you look at what they're doing right now. You can really tell that a lot of these cats are trying to prepare for next year already.
That's right.
All 3 of the all-time leading winners in nationwide competition at this Texas track are in the field today. Kevin Harvick's got 4 victories. Kyle Busch has got 3, working on a 4th. And Matt Kenseth has got a pair. Let's hear from Kevin and Matt, starting with Jamie.
And Kevin Harvick was he was top 10 in both practices, so the car was pretty good, Kevin, but this was actually a short track car, and you guys converted it. What goes into converting a car for an intermediate track?
Really, there isn't a whole lot of difference, just for the fact you got to put a window track in it, and that's about it. So, nowadays it's all about downforce and making sure your cars have as much grip as possible. But so far, our Jimmy John's Chevrolet has been pretty good, and a little bit of wind today, more than yesterday, and probably a little bit warmer conditions. So we'll just have to keep up with the track and see where we're at the end.
The team was surprised by your qualifying effort, because you guys didn't do a mock qualifying run. How do you expect it to race?
I think it'll race good. Obviously that's all we did in practice yesterday, but these cars are really fast through the corner. You got to keep track position all day and have a good day on pit road, and put yourself in position for that last run.
All right, Kevin Harvick, 4-time winner here. He starts 5th. Vince?
Standing by with Matt Kenseth. He'll start on the pole in today's race and has won here a couple of times. Last time we were on a 1.5 mile track. Many believed you had the car to beat then as well. His 1.5 mile package is pretty good. How do you feel about your race car today?
I feel all right about it. Our State Financial Ford has been pretty fast. It seems like in these 1.5 miles they've been qualifying really well. And when it comes time to race, it seems like Kyle, and especially Kyle, I guess, has been really hard to beat. And our package seems to be just a little off there. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what we have in a long run. You're going to have a car really good on a long run, and that'll really stay on its tires. This track is really getting abrasive and slippery.
Throughout the course of the show today, we've talked a little bit about the aggressiveness of some of the younger drivers. As a veteran, what are the expectations you have of the younger racers?
I don't know if I have any really expectations. I mean, everybody at times are going to be probably more aggressive than they should, or make mistakes or do things wrong, and including me. I make mistakes every week. So, I mean, you go out there and you try to race as hard as you can. You try to show people as much respect as you can, and usually when you do that, you end up getting that back in return.
Well said. That's Matt Kenseth. He'll start from the pole today, Alan.
Okay, Vince, thanks. Texas Motor Speedway, where we're getting ready to go. Green flag racing for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Everything's bigger in Texas,
there's
right?
my boots. I left my boots over there. I need to get a hold of those.
Big boots, big belt buckles, big beef.
Man, you know I love to eat, boy. You get a big old steak here in Texas, baby. Woo.
And hopefully, big action on the racetrack as we get set to go. Racing in Texas, the land of the Longhorns. Tomorrow, the chase race for the NASCAR Sprint Cup comes to the Lone Star State. Jimmy Johnson, fastest in final practice.
Oh, imagine that.
Carl Edwards, second quickest. Remember last year, Johnson finished 15th in this race. Carl won and took 77 points off his lead. The Dickies 500 tomorrow, starting with NASCAR Countdown, ABC at 2:30 Eastern Time. A little pre-race scene here, bringing in the state flag of Texas down to by the pre-race stage in the tri-oval grass as we get set for today's NASCAR Nationwide Series 300-miler. Nice landing. Oh, okay, maybe not.
That's pretty good, though. Not bad.
Sticking the landing, style points, I don't know. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do when you skydive. I'd never know why you'd want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. Let's talk about what to watch for in today's race. What makes this track different from a lot of the other mile-and-a-halves, the transition from turn to straightaway.
Well said, especially off of turn 2. There's a lot of banking in turn 1 and 2, but when you exit turn 2, that racetrack falls off big time right there. And see how those skid marks, how they're all hitting the wall? Those guys are going to do that all day today, and they've been doing it all day in practice also. A very tough corner because of that. Let's take a look at the racetrack here off of turn 2. Bam, right in the wall. Look at that, Brad. That was Carl Edwards. That was Joey Logano. Two good drivers. Watch it again. Wham. That's what's going to happen off of turn 2. People are going to do that because the banking falls away on you.
Turn 4 is not easy either.
Yeah, you go into turn 4, and what happens, the car gets, it feels like it's light. It almost feels like it's lifting up. We see Brendan Gaughan doing a nice little pirouettes down through the pretty grass, didn't hit anything. But yeah, a lot of guys will lose it and just spin off turn 4.
Tires, 2 stories today. Tire wear and speed fall off.
Yeah, I talked to Jason Keller, who's starting 16th today, and he was talking about the tires. He says, we're trying to build so much grip into this race car, but the racetrack is actually very abrasive and loose. So that combination creates problems. So whenever those guys come down pit road, they will be getting 4 Goodyear Eagles on that race car.
And when they do come down pit road, under a green flag stop, which we see a lot of here, they'll have their hands full.
They will have their hands full. Take a look at the banking angle right here. Those guys come off at 24 degrees of banking angle right to the very flat of the bottom of the racetrack right there. It's very, very abrupt. Getting off that track, running about 180 miles an hour, flying down to that cone right there where those wreckers are at and getting slowed down. So you see the cars moving around a lot.
Yeah, we see Jason Leffler, and he just, bam, he slams off the racetrack down onto the apron trying to get the pit road. He's hauling the mail down the back stretch. You got to keep up. You don't want to get run over, and it's a short, quick entrance into pit road.
Double file restarts, first time in Texas today. A lot of folks think they'll be pretty hairy too. We'll keep an eye on those as the race unfolds. David Reagan starting on the outside of row number 1 for this race. He's with Dave.
And Alan, I guess the person who thought up this crew chief swap is a genius because David Reagan qualified second and Carl Edwards doesn't look too bad either. So what do you think about the change in your possibilities here today at Texas?
Well, it's an experience. I mean, Mike Kelly is the only crew chief I've worked with in the Nationwide Series since my rookie year. So, you know, it's been fun working with someone different, Dan. And, you know, that group is a pretty good group of guys. Obviously, they've gotten Carl a few wins this year. So, yeah, all the Roush Fenway Fords look pretty good. Our discount tire Ford was really fast when we unloaded it. So, it should be a fun day. Texas is one of my favorite tracks. Really enjoy this place. And it'd be awesome to get a win here for discount tire and for Ford.
David starts on the outside of the front row. Alan?
All right, quickly, Brad, Rusty, how many laps Kyle Busch going to lead today?
Kyle Busch will lead 115 laps today, baby.
All right.
And this is a 200-lap race?
Yes, sir.
He's going to lead 180.
All right. I have written those down. We will find out as the day goes on.
There you go.
Kyle Busch trying for his 4th consecutive win at Texas Motor Speedway. Last time a driver won 4 straight at one track in the Nationwide Series, Jamie McMurray, Rockingham, 2002 through 2004. But Kyle's got to overcome a tough Texas track and a very talented field to keep toting home the trophy.
To beat a man, you got to beat the man. Woo!
The 2009 NASCAR Nationwide Series down to its final 3 races. Today it's 300 miles at the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, where the sun is shining. The question now, on which driver will fate shine on this beautiful afternoon? A very stout field of 43, including 12 double-duty drivers all lined up and getting ready to go. We go trackside now for today's opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the U.S. Army 2nd Battalion, 354th Artillery, 95th Division Color Guard presents our nation's colors. And please join us in a moment of silence in memory of those who lost their lives in the tragic events that occurred Thursday at nearby Fort Hood. Please remain standing as Dr. Roger Marsh of Texas Alliance Raceway Ministries offers today's invocation.
Heavenly Father, as we gather at the Great American Speedway today, our hearts are heavy, and yet we have compassion in our hearts for those who have suffered this week at Fort Hood. We pray for their families. We also are filled with confidence and courage today as we think about our troops around the world. We thank you for them, and we pray for their protection. And Father, our hearts are filled with excitement today as we anticipate the events of this afternoon here at the Speedway. We ask you, Lord, to bless all the competitors, keep them safe, and watch over them. Thank you so much for the sponsors, for all the fans who are here, for all the personnel. Guide and direct us through the day. All this I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
And here to perform our national anthem, please welcome United States Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Catherine Struce.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And the home of the brave.
So for the drivers, time now to climb aboard and get ready to get down to business today at Texas. Very interesting to me how so many of the main players or favorites in this race have little wrinkles to their stories, little subplots to give us something extra to watch for. One of those is Mike Bliss. Shannon Spake has more on that. Shannon?
Well, since losing his full-time ride back in August, Mike Bliss has been playing musical chairs in the Nationwide garage. Since that time, he has made starts for 5 different race teams. Meanwhile, he's continued to make every race, and he continues to improve his points position. He's currently 59 points out of 5th place. Now, remember, only the top 5 in the points get to go to the Champions Banquet at the end of the season. So when Mike is finished accomplishing getting into the top 5, he then has one more choice to make. Which team is he going to bring with him to that top 5 celebration? Vince?
Well, Shannon, currently 5th in points is rookie Justin Allgaier. And like any rookie in any series, being the rookie of the year is one of the goals that you set at the beginning of the season. So for the 23-year-old Allgaier, that is no different. And he has a slight advantage over 34-year-old Brendan Gaughan. With 3 races to go, the rookie of the year battle is up for grabs, and it's just one of many races within the race today. Dave?
Vince, a couple of weeks ago in Memphis, Brad Keselowski ran into Carl Edwards and several other guys on his way to victory in that race. Carl Edwards saying afterwards, well, if that's the way he wants to race, then that's how we will race. But since then, Brad Keselowski is starting for Penske Racing already this weekend in the Cup Series, and Carl has a new crew chief, so a lot of other issues on their mind. It'll be interesting to see if these two drivers dwell on the past or look toward the future. Jamie?
Well, Kyle Busch got back to his winning ways last night, winning his 5th straight Truck Series race. And he's going for history here at Texas. He's looking for his 4th consecutive win in the Nationwide Series here. Now, for these final 3 races, Kyle needs to average a 13th place finish to win his first ever NASCAR championship. But hey, it's Kyle Busch. He's not thinking about points and a championship right now. All he's thinking about is winning today. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. So what's it going to be? Kyle Busch with a 4th straight Texas two-step, or someone stepping between he and the trophy? Maybe Matt Kenseth, maybe Carl Edwards coming from the back, maybe one of the other drivers in this field, a very stout field getting set to go. We'll find out the answers to these and other questions over the course of 300 miles. The engines fire next.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Texas is brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Verizon customers, text JSKI to 4ESPN to submit a question to NASCAR Insider JSKI. Standard text messaging rates apply. And Toyota, moving forward.
The beautiful Texas Motor Speedway, the Great American Speedway, where the NASCAR Nationwide Series goes 300 miles this afternoon. Picture-perfect weather. Temperature's going to be up in the upper 70s by race's end. And a beautiful speed. The crowd here just so enthusiastic.
They're electric out there today. They're fired up, and it's such beautiful weather. You can just feel it in there, Brad.
Great sports town. These people really get into their racing, so we're excited. We got Harvick, Busch, Vickers, Bliss. I mean, we got some Casey Canes in the field today, and Carl Edwards goes all the way to the back. These boys are ready to get it on.
Drivers finishing their final chores of buckling up the safety equipment, gathered at the start-finish line. The Grand Marshal to get it started.
And now, race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome your Grand Marshal, owner of G&K Automotive, Gary Wayne Justice.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Just drop down and go to the back. You're going to have.
Okay. 10-4, engine is fired and running. Gauges look good. Still got me loud and clear with it running.
You might have to push that microphone closer to your lips. You still got that little bit of a hum in there.
Tell me when here, Jingle.
All right, so it's time to go racing. That means it must be time to go upstairs to 3 men ready to call the action. A play-by-play guy, a champion crew chief, and a Yankee fan who hasn't stopped smiling yet. Dale Jarrett, along with Andy Petrie and Marty Reed. I'm still trying to figure out how a guy from Carolina is a Yankee fan. Go ahead.
I know that was difficult for a Red Sox fan to come up with that, Alan, but been a Yankees fan since I was 5 years old, and it was a big week for us.
Let's talk a little bit more about what we're going to see, because the cream rises. You heard Rusty and the guys talking during countdown about this track being very tough. Turns 2, turns 4. 4 out of the top 8 qualifiers are former winners here. Let's talk about the 4 who have won.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth has a couple of wins here. He's starting on the pole. He'll be a good choice for a winner today. Kevin Harvick, he's got the more wins here than anybody with 4. And then you've got Kyle Busch with 3 in a row, going for 4 in a row today. So there's some really good heat up front.
Yeah, I want to talk about the other 4 guys that make up our top 8 qualifiers. Jason Leffler starts 3rd. Told me yesterday he has a great car this weekend. He may get to victory lane. Brad Keselowski has 4 wins. He's starting 7th, but he has none here at Texas. Roush Fenway has 12 wins at this racetrack. David Reagan, who's starting on the outside of the front row, hasn't won in the Nationwide Series. Carl Edwards has won 3 times in the Cup Series, none in Nationwide. That could change today.
And the Yankees have 27 championship rings. He forgot to say that as well. And Alan's, of course, rooting for Roush Fenway for some unknown reason. Anyway, let's talk about the onboard cameras that we've got for you. We've got a whole slew of them. In fact, take a look in there. You see, we've got James Buescher in the 1 car, Justin Allgaier, Matt Kenseth, Robert Richardson, Casey Mears, you heard during countdown, subbing for Jeff Burton, and then Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, and our in-race reporter, Trevor Bayne. In fact, got a kick out of Trevor talking to him yesterday before qualifying. He says, my boss, Michael Waltrip, may be talking too much for DJ to get a word in edgewise. But we'll find out, because DJ is going to call him up when we come back. Welcome back to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Challenge here at Texas Motor Speedway. Pace laps have begun. Let's show you the starting grid across the top of your screen. We'll tell you there were 3 cars that did not make the field. Casey Atwood, Mike Harmon, and Andy Ponstein. Let's talk to our in-race reporter. That's Trevor Bayne.
Hey, Trevor, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
We'll go 39.50. Dale, I got you.
Hey, Trevor, I was talking with you yesterday. You said that was the first time you'd been on this racetrack. Are you comfortable in knowing that with the limited amount of time you had on this track yesterday, that you know all the bumps and trouble spots of this racetrack?
Well, I got pretty familiar with it, especially in qualifying when I tried to hold it wide open.
I think Hermie Sadler, he said I could do it, and I tried it. It didn't work out for me, though. We ended up 11th here, but I found the bump in turn 1 and 2 pretty quick by trying that. It washed me up the racetrack on exit. But, you know, the more laps I get here, the more I'm going to learn and more we'll be able to bring it here next year.
All right, Trevor, our next question comes from our mailbag, and Jared in Oak Park, Illinois asks, what do you think is the most important thing you've learned from your seat time in the Nationwide Series this year?
I think I've just learned to be patient. You know, these are long races, and you got a lot of time to adjust, a lot of pit stops. You know, normally in the racing that I've done, you only get 1 or 2 chances to work on the race car, but in this deal, you normally got 4 or 5 pit stops to come in, make adjustments, and get these things right. So you really, you know, you just got to be smart and take your time and work your way to the front.
Hey, buddy, how much did it help having someone like Michael Waltrip on your radio helping guide you through these races?
It's helped a lot. I'm sure you hear him on here a few times today, maybe more than a few times actually. I don't know how you got through on the radio frequency here. I'm just kidding, but you know, he's helped me out, and all the drivers at MWR have. You know, David Rudeman, everybody has been a big support to me, and I'm also looking forward to next year. Hopefully, if you know, we're able to get some full-time racing in, that'd be pretty awesome.
All right, Trevor, have a great day. Thanks for talking with us. Now, Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Jerry Baxter.
Sounds good.
Hey, Jerry, Andy in the booth up here. You got us?
Yeah, Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Jerry, tell us how it's different calling a race for an 18-year-old rookie like Trevor versus a veteran driver like David Rudeman.
Well, you know, the veterans, they've kind of been around these places a long time and kind of know what they want, so you're pretty much just tuned into what they say. And with a driver like Trevor, you know, being young, hopefully he can lean on what Ty Norris and myself have for experience over the year. You know, we can kind of guide him along there. Usually helps out for the young driver like that.
Okay, Jerry, have a good race, and thanks for talking to us. And I see Michael doesn't have a radio on yet. You going to keep it off of him today?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Okay, Jerry, thanks for talking to us.
How about our over-the-wall reporter is going to be John Busolo. There's Michael. He's got a concerned look on his face. And there's John. And congratulations to he and wife Melissa. Daughter Carson was born back on October 12th. Congratulations. He's the front tire carrier on the 24 of Eric McClure. By the way, Eric is A-OK after 2 weeks ago at Memphis when he hit the wall hard. There he is in the 24. Quickly on the race analysis, let's show you. We're going to go 200 laps, 300 miles, and pit speed, 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, and 55 to 60 is a pit window that we're looking at. If they don't have to stretch fuel, sometimes we see them stretch that.
That 24 degrees of banking in the corners makes for some exciting racing.
Right before we go green, Eddie Pardue was on the radio to Kenseth and the team.
All right, boys, let's be ready today. All day long here. Let's show them what we got. Let's put him out front. Let him close the deal for us. Good luck, Matt. Let us know what you need for adjustments, and we'll try to stay on top of them. All right, good luck.
3 cars are going to the rear. The 60 for the shock replacement that you heard Carl talk about. The 09 had an unapproved adjustment. They are back out. It was a sway bar. And then the 23 crashed in qualifying, and they are in a backup car for Robert Richardson Jr. So the pace car is coming out of turn number 4, and we are down to race number 33 of the 2010 NASCAR Nationwide Series here at Texas Motor Speedway. They're woeing them down, and now the green flag is flying, and we're racing here at Texas. Kenseth pulls out about a 2-car length lead going down the backstretch. We will tell you the 09 is back into pit lane to check out that adjustment. They obviously have more problems on that car. Jason Leffler is in second. David Reagan is third. And it's going to be Kenseth leading here on lap number 1 of 200.
See Jason Leffler there with a good start. He was very excited when I was talking to him yesterday about his chances here. He loves this racetrack. Starting up front, he felt that was going to really help his chances to have a great run today.
Saw the 10 car a little bit further back in now 5th place. That's Casey Kane. He had a good run yesterday in qualifying. He's on the high side of the 18 of Kyle Busch. Started 6th and right now is trying to take over 5th.
Yeah, it looks like Kyle Busch going to get clear right there, Casey Kane.
Right behind the 88. Brad Keselowski, Brian Vickers in the 32 as they go side by side through turns 1 and 2.
Now, they'd really like to make this high line come in. These cars, with the limited amount of horsepower they have, they can keep momentum. You can see now Vickers making that work pretty well.
On board with Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, you see right behind this group is that 29 car with Casey Mears in there. He's taking over for Jeff Burton, who got dinged up a little bit in Cup practice, but I'm really impressed by the way this 29 car is running. He had no laps of practice at all. He got in this car and qualified it in the top 15.
Two cars have already taken it behind the wall with the start and parks, the 92 of Dennis Setzer and the 49 of Mark Green.
Yeah, back to Casey Mears just a second. He said that he hasn't even been in one of these in about 2 years since he was running some races. So he had no idea how the tapered spacer may feel or anything. Went out there and did a great job.
Yeah, ended up qualifying 14th without a single lap in the car. I remember him as a 15-year-old without a driver's license winning his first ever race in the old Mickey Thompson Stadium Series in Superlights. That's where it all started for him. Let's go back up front. Take a look at the race leader, and you can see the gap from high above as Kenseth has opened up an 0.8 of a second lead over Leffler. That's the 09 of John West Townley. He has lapped traffic. Remember, he came in right at the start of the race. David Reagan, we go on board with Kevin Harvick.
You can see Kevin kind of got trapped in behind the 09 car there, and that allowed Kyle Busch to go by him on the high side.
And the 90 of Johnny Chapman is off. Terry Cook is also off. Got to save those tires. Still got 2 more races to go.
Yeah, we see Kevin Harvick at 33, and he was so fast at Atlanta. And these tracks look very, very similar. I just wonder how that's going to carry over here today, Dale. How similar are these tracks?
Only in looks. They drive totally different. We heard Rusty talking about the transitions out of these corners, out of 2 and out of 4. Very abrupt, and that makes things a lot different. But I think the lack of grip is something that we talk about at Atlanta and this racetrack, and that could bode well for Kevin Harvick.
Taking a peek on the inside, the 18. Kyle Busch looks under, can't get anywhere closer, though, to the 38. And Leffler, that team so desperately wants a win before the end of the season. They've had consistent runs. They just haven't been able to seal the deal. And here comes Kyle on the inside. Looks like he's going to take the position.
Yeah, he's going to have to get up there and hustle if he's going to get those 180 laps led that Brad Daugherty said he's going to do.
Rusty said.
Rusty said 180.
Yeah, Brad was 115. My apologies, big guy.
Right now, it's still Kenseth by 1.1 seconds, but there you can see the action a little bit further back because this is the best group of 4 that we have going. And, oh, man, I have a feeling Leffler's going to feel like a sandwich. Oh, and almost contact there.
Really loose right there.
Kevin Harvick's the guy on the low side. Here comes Reagan on the high side of the 33.
Don't think there's quite the grip up in that second groove that these guys need to run in that part of the racetrack just yet.
Want to check in on Carl Edwards. Remember, he had to go to the rear, and it's a familiar sight. He's won 3 times this year coming from the back. Look at this, 19 spots already. He's up to 21st.
He's wasted no time. He's got a fast car. We heard in the pre-race show how these Roush teams have switched crew chiefs, but both cars are running well this weekend.
And you saw Tony Raines has picked up 11 spots. He's moved up to 24th. Got the 05 also coming down pit road, looking like he's heading for the garage area. Yes, Mark Day is behind the wall. Another start and park. Right there is the margin between first and second. Kenseth and Kyle Busch, 0.4 of a second. Kyle is closing.
Coming in a hurry, he is.
Remember last night he won his 5th truck race of the year.
Don't let him go, man.
And there he goes, just zipping around him.
I figured Matt make it a little tougher on him.
Not much you can do when a guy's run you down from that far back. Yeah. Not much reason to race 10 laps in.
So there's the gap between first and second starting to widen already. Kyle Busch is our second race leader after only 10 laps. Back here at the Great American Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway. It's the NASCAR Nationwide Series where Kyle Busch has, well, taken over a familiar spot at the front of this field as he has led over 100 laps here in 5 different races. Here is his 2009 NASCAR season to date. He won the truck race last night, trying to go for the double today and maybe even a triple tomorrow. He has now passed, guys, over 4,200 laps led this season.
Wow,
in
look
all
at that.
3.
2,452 laps in this series alone.
His margin right now over second place, Matt Kenseth, is 1.4 seconds. There you see Matt. And let's check in and find out what's going on with Matt's car.
Looks like he's got 200 pounds more downforce. He's got so much more grip. I just run out of grip in 5 laps. My balance is advantage just out of grip.
So he's talking about running out of grip, and it shows in his lap times.
Yeah, we've got a much hotter racetrack here today. The sun beating down on it than what he had in qualifying. So it just, you see a car go by you that quickly, it looks like that they just do have that downforce, but they obviously have a package that works well, whether it's downforce and springs and shocks.
The other thing, I was talking to him yesterday, he said going down here, right here, the wind, the tailwind going into 3 really makes the car a handful through 3 and 4.
Yeah, you have to be careful and have to be aware of that, and you can see there's flags around here that can keep you abreast of that situation, but it really helps you carry more speed, especially if you get off turn 2 very well, and so you have to be careful of that. Back your entry up just a little bit because you're carrying a lot more speed.
We mentioned the 11 of Mike Bliss, the fact he has been in just about every car on the racetrack and is closing in on 5th place in the points championship by only 59 at the beginning of the day. There you see Mike. He is currently running in the 8th position, and right now, based on where Justin Allgaier is, that margin has been cut to 32. Shannon?
Guys, we spoke at the beginning of the race about Mike Bliss getting into the top 5, being able to go to the banquet at the end of the season. I did ask him about that today, and he said, you know, I am just living day to day. I am not thinking about the top 5. I'm just happy to be here racing right now in this 11 car. I also asked him how the car is this weekend, and he said, you know, every time I get in this 11 car, I truly feel like we can run in the top 3. He said, this is a great car, and I feel like I'm in a great position this weekend.
Well, he has picked up 111 points over Justin Allgaier in the last 3 races, and he's done it all in that 11 car, and you can see he got around a couple of cars there, including the 29 of Casey Mears.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. He'll have to have a bigger table than everybody else wanting to get all the car owners that helped him achieve that if he gets in the top 5.
He's had a lot of help this year.
Want to talk about the Rookie of the Year points? Well, there you see the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. Started 16th. He has currently moved up to 12th, and he is now ahead of Justin Allgaier, who is in 16th position. Remember, there's a 10-point gap there, so Allgaier's got all kinds of issues. He's got a battle for 5th with Bliss, and the rookie points with Brendan. Justin's got his hands full. He's in a bit of a group of 3 right there, although he has gotten around Trevor Bayne and is closing on Scott Wimmer in the 40.
Yeah, he made that pass on the high side, so that's good to see. These guys are starting to get some grip up there, able to make that work. Vince?
Well, and Justin Allgaier, he had a good run here in the spring, was 10th in April, but I talked to Chad Walter, the crew chief, just before the race today, and he said the one thing we haven't been able to get a handle on is the balance. We're good on one end, not so good at the other. We'll make an adjustment to make the car better on entry, makes it worse on exit. So definitely a work in progress, and they believe they were going to have to work through a couple of these pit stops and a couple of these segments, guys, before they got the car just right, and I think we're seeing that here in the early going.
And if you drop just 3 spots further back from where we find Justin Allgaier, you'll find Carl Edwards. He has picked up a total of 23 positions on the racetrack right now. Dave?
And he's been fighting handling conditions that seem to have to do more with traffic than actually the car by itself. Sometimes it's loose, sometimes it's tight. Now, this morning when I was talking to crew chief Mike Kelly about how their day might be first race together, he was giving me the information when he was called out of the hauler over to the garage area where his crew was looking at the car. They were looking at the right front. They were looking at the right front shock. They had a problem with the monoball on the top of the right front shock. So I went to my Craftsman Tech Garage to find out on the shelf if you pick one of those up what it does, and Tim Brewer what might happen if something goes wrong with that.
Dave, right here. Folks, the shock absorber is located and it's actually affixed to the roll bar right here. But to get a better illustration of it, the bolt goes through the shock absorber, and this is the monoball in the shock housing right here. But the monoball itself actually sits inside, and it lets the shock work freely. But the issue was it was actually loose in this housing, and if it breaks the housing right here, that's when the shock will start dangling, and that's when it's going to become a big issue. Guys?
Thanks for the great explanation, Tim.
Yeah, you can't run without the shocks hooked up, and that can actually be a dangerous situation, too. If that thing would happen to fall off the car, getting in the corner, it could blow that right front tire out and really cause some problems. So it's a good catch on the team's part.
That's Trevor Bayne in the 99 right in front of Carl. The question is for how long? You know, we've been talking about points. if everything stopped right now, guess what? We'd have a new man in second place in the points. His name would be Brad Keselowski. We sort of almost glossed over that.
So you got to stop the race before Carl passes many more cars. And here he comes.
That's the great thing about it. It's not over yet. But that shows you how close and how quick things could swing.
Yeah, you can see Carl trying to make that high side work too. This racetrack very aero sensitive with these race cars, carrying a lot of speed. You need all the downforce on the front ends you can. So Carl's trying that high side to see if he can get around Trevor Bayne.
Well, you mentioned it right from the get-go. Guys want that second lane to come in. Brian Vickers and Joey Logano. Logano told us before the race, in fact, I saw him before qualifying yesterday, and he said, man, we just do not have the setup. They went over to Jason Radcliffe. They tried some of the things on their car, and he is starting to move forward. He's up to 10th and has got some pretty decent lap times right now. He's only running about 1/10 to 2/10 off of the race pace. But he's still got a bit of work to go to catch up to that man right there. But he's done it before. Maybe we'll see it happen again. But Kyle Busch in control here at Texas. Kyle Busch is leading here on lap number 44 of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Challenge at Texas Motor Speedway. Update you quickly on the starting parks. We now have a total of 9 out of the race. Mark Day, Kenny Hendrick, Chase Miller, Joe Nemechek, Danny O'Quinn have been added to the list. Busch's lead is just about 4 seconds over Kevin Harvick. Then it's Casey Kane back in 3rd, Brad Keselowski 4th, Matt Kenseth is 5th, David Reagan 6th, and Mike Bliss is in 7th. Drop back a little bit further and you see Bobby Hillin Jr. That's right. Bobby is back out racing. Remember when he won at Talladega? It's been a while.
I remember. Yep, 1986.
I think 22 years old at the time. 5th youngest driver ever. Jamie, you got more?
Well, he was called the original young gun. He was young when young wasn't a popular thing in this sport, but he retired back in 2000, guys. But he's from Texas, and now he's operating 2 companies that are now sponsoring this car. He had the itch to get back out here, so he worked a deal with the 81 car. And right now, guys, he has his hands full. He can't hear his spotter at all.
That's not good. He's running in 30th at this point. On the left side of your screen, you can see it's David Reagan and Mike Bliss. They're battling it out for 6th. They go around Kevin Conway in the 26th. Reagan, of course, talked to him yesterday before qualifying. He was talking about he'd love to do about 20 of these races next year, but you know, they've still got a lot of questions, a lot of balls up in the air as far as what he's going to be doing in the Nationwide Series.
Yeah, and it all kind of boils down to sponsorship. If they could get sponsorship on these cars, I would assume you'd see him on a lot more races.
Bliss trying to reel him back in. David right now with, about a half a second lead. As Reagan in 6th, Mike Bliss in 7th, and here he comes. He's starting to close on him.
Yeah, we've seen this happen a couple of times, guys. Drivers run the car down in front of them, and then they get there, and it's that buffer of air that just won't let them get up there and make that pass. See the 6 car pretty loose there. Shannon?
Well, David Reagan working with Dan Stillman, formerly Carl Edwards crew chief, for the first time this week. And I spoke with Stillman before the race. He said everything has been very smooth. He said this is a great track for David Reagan, so getting to know his setup style has been very easy. And he said as far as communication, as long as you ask the right questions, you'll get the right answers. And right now, he's finding out that David Reagan thinks that the car is just a little bit tight in traffic. But Reagan, one of those drivers who is making that high line work early.
And just as you were finishing up, Shannon, you saw the 58 of Josh Wise. He pulled down on the pit lane, not scheduled to be a starting park, so they might have a problem on that car. We'll keep an eye on it. Meanwhile, let's check in on the battle with Kevin Harvick and Casey Kane. That is 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, over the last few laps, this 10 car has really been making up some ground on Kevin Harvick. Looks like he's got a really good long-range setup here, long-run setup.
You know, we were talking about tires from the very beginning of the day, how abrasive this track can be. Look at the drop-off.
Yeah, that's just from the tire wear. You see that 178.3 on Kyle Busch on lap 2. He's all the way down to 171.3. That's 7 miles an hour. That's a good bit of speed that these tires lose over the course of a run.
Dave, you've got more on this situation?
Yeah, you guys were talking earlier about Kevin Harvick being patient in traffic. One of the reasons is he's got such a great race car. Very balanced. They talked about, Ernie Cope told me this morning, the crew chief, very balanced race car. In fact, some teams were experiencing some cording of the tires, some wearing out sooner than maybe they should during the course of practice this weekend. This was not one of those cars. All the way around, the rubber looked good, and they were able to maintain that balance. Interestingly, that's where Kevin wants to go for adjustments on the first stop. He wants to take the air pressures down on all 4 tires.
Well, you saw from Harvick's onboard, the 58 of Josh Wise coming back out onto the track from pit lane. He was in for a regular stop, although a little bit earlier than we anticipated it, and everybody else still has several laps to go. Right now, 4.3 seconds in front of everybody else is Kyle Busch. You want to see how far up the road that is? There you go. Jamie?
Marty, you talked about how many laps he's led this year. He's led over 40% of the laps race. Pretty incredible stat there. Now he continues to check out, but it's interesting what's happening with these cars. You guys were talking about the tires falling off, and he said he was lacking a lot of front grip and right rear grip, but he said, but now the right rear feels pretty good. It has settled down, so he just needs some front grip, and that's what they're looking to change on the first stop.
Well, you mentioned 40% for him. How about the fact that between Roush Fenway and Joe Gibbs Racing, these teams have led 69% of the laps and won 21 of the 32 races. Kyle Busch right now out in front easily, and last night he made it look easy again. That is Ron Hornaday, the soon-to-be champion in the Truck Series, as he gets past a little rubbing and racing, and he takes his 5th straight win in a truck.
On ESPN's Monday Night Football this week, a great matchup between a couple of top contenders, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos. Big Ben and Hines Ward leading the streaking Steelers. Of course, the Denver defense has helped the Broncos to that 6-1 start. Steelers-Broncos, ESPN's Monday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 7 Eastern Time. Caution-free through 1/4 of the distance in this afternoon's NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Texas Motor Speedway, Kyle Busch has led since lap number 11 on. We've just completed lap number 50 now, and we're closing in on the first set of pit stops. Kyle about to lap the 19th place car, Stephen Wallace, in the 66. One of the guys who probably welcome a chance to get onto pit road. From the pit studio with Rusty and Brad. So far, Brad, your numbers are adding up on Kyle.
Yeah, I'd like to actually change my number if I could.
Oh, here we go.
Get it on up towards Rusty's number of 180 or so. But yeah, he's really doing a good job. But if you look at the speeds through the top 20 teams, everybody's around the same speed, basically. So it shows how much these tires have fallen off. It'll be interesting, Rusty, after we come in and get these 4 fresh tires to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm pretty amazed right now that this thing has run caution-free this long. We're expecting stops just any time now, probably about 4 or 5 more laps. But I'm noticing that the top side of the racetrack has not come in yet. Yeah. It's still kind of gray up there. And this track, notoriously, late in the race, they run way high up against the wall. I expect that to happen later on.
Now, Carl Edwards will be a guy who will welcome a chance to get onto pit road. Remember, Carl had to start at the back of this field after the team found a problem with one of the shock absorbers this morning. Made the adjustment. The post-impound adjustment meant they had to go to the back. Carl got up to about 17th spot in the opening laps, then kind of stalled out. Here's what he's saying.
Yeah, my right front's real numb into the corner, you know, just feels like just chattering over the pavement. And then I get to the center, and once the nose gets down, it turns pretty well. The farther I get around the exit, the better it turns. It's neutral off. At the beginning of the run, it was way too loose to run the top. It was okay on the bottom.
So Carl Edwards running in 15th spot right now. And again, pit stops about a couple laps away for the leaders. They have begun now for some cars, Vince.
That's right, the 66 of Stephen Wallace, after 3 races in which he's had some bad luck, needs a good finish today. Loose off, 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment. Jamie?
Jason Leffler qualified this car third, the best all season. He says it's tied in and then it snaps loose off. Air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. Dave?
33 car of Kevin Harvick has just entered pit road, and he has told his crew, I don't need any tighter off the corner. I just need rear grip in the car. That is going to be an air pressure adjustment unless Ernie Cope has decided to throw a chassis adjustment in there as well. But it appears that the adjustment's already been made. All 4 tires getting just a little bit of a reduction in air pressure. Sunoco fuel going in the left side of the car. It'll take 2 cans by the time they change 4 tires, and he'll be good to go. Carl Edwards also going to be down
of 2. He just needs grip on that front. They're making a track bar adjustment, air pressure, 4 tires, he's down. Dave?
Mike Kelly told Kyle Edwards that because the front of your car feels numb, as he described it, you will get air pressure change in 3 tires, and that will hopefully help Carl out. Also, Matt Kenseth, our pole sitter, is in. He was going straight back, according to his talking to the crew, so we need to make a big change. The car is tight. That'll be air pressure as well. No wrenches going in the 16, but the pole sitter will get all 4 tires air pressure change to try to get that car back in the track and going forward instead of backwards.
You see Justin Allgaier, he's sideways in the pits. He actually had to back up a little bit so the crew could service the car. Is able to get back out. Nobody in front of him.
And the one thing he cannot afford is a mistake with all what is at stake. Shannon?
Yeah, Mike Bliss' car has gotten faster as he's gone higher on the racetrack, turning very fast laps on the racetrack. He says no adjustments at this time. The car has just been a little bit heavy on that right rear, but no adjustments for the 11. Brad Keselowski also pulling his number 88 car onto pit road. The car has been good for Brad. This is the same car that he drove to victory lane earlier this season at Michigan. As you see those guys going to work on the right side, it's going to be no changes, 4 tires for the 88 team. David Reagan also on pit road. First pit stop with Dan Stillman calling the shots. David Reagan says that the car is a little bit tight in traffic. They are going to make a track bar and an air pressure adjustment for David Reagan. 4 tires. Vince?
The 99 of Trevor Bayne, we've talked about him and what a bright young driver he is and the future that he has. The car's pretty good, although he says the front tires are starting to lose some grip. 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for the 99 of Trevor Bayne.
And Tony Raines, he had a bit of a problem also in pit road. It's similar to Allgaier.
Yeah, just about the same thing. You saw Justin Allgaier get in the pits just a little bit too hot. And like we were saying, these tires lose a lot of grip on the racetrack. So when they make this pit stop and they get on pit road, you can see right here they have a hard time getting the car to slow down.
Wheel straight, foot on the brake.
See, now the official is telling him.
Back him up, back him up.
You have to back up. That would have been a 1-lap penalty for Allgaier had he not backed up.
Yeah, the right front tire changer did a nice job there, too, of realizing that they were too far and got him back before they started that work.
The 81, we've been told, has gotten a black flag for speeding in pit road. So exiting out for the 81 was too fast. So Bobby Hillen is going to have to come on through. He hasn't done that very often lately.
Yeah, it makes it tough when you just come in and back into the sport. You haven't been doing it.
39.50, you got to drive down pit row.
While all this is going on and everybody has cycled through, let's reset the field for you, because we only have 13 cars, in fact now 12 cars on the lead lap, and we've got a caution out. Debris down in turn number 1, so we'll see what we can find.
Yeah, that erases a 10-second lead that Kyle Busch had over Kevin Harvick after that round of pit stop.
Well, what it also means is guys like Jason Keller, and remember that mistake by Justin Allgaier? He is 1 lap down and is not in the lucky dog position. So that mistake has hurt the 12 team in pit road.
Yeah, Carl Edwards is being shown as the first car 1 lap down.
So he will get the Aaron's lucky dog. There you see Carl. Right behind him is Jason Keller, who is 14th, also a lap down. And then it is Allgaier and Wimmer, 15th and 16th.
Well, a lot of these guys wish that caution would have come just a little bit earlier, where they could have made their pit stops under caution conditions where they might work on them to see if they could catch that 18.
Yeah, because now they've already made their pit stops. They're not going to come back down pit road right now. They're just going to have to reset the field here and see what they have.
So in essence, it
Lucky dog, had to get it done before I got the 62.
You heard the radio talking about the lucky dog, and there it is, going to Carl Edwards. So he'll come back around, and that will give us a total of 13 cars on the lead lap. Now remember, everybody just pitted between laps 53 and all the way to 57, depending on which car we were looking at that time. Our race leader, Kyle Busch, came in on lap 55. We're working lap 62 right now.
Yeah, you won't see any of the leaders that made these green flag pit stops come back down pit road, unless it might be some of the guys at the tail end of the lead lap that may just dash in here and make a change. Like Dale said, this would be a good opportunity to make a change if you didn't have to give up track position. Well, if you're at the back of the lead lap cars, you don't give up much track position to come in, so they may come in and adjust on a little bit.
Exactly, yep.
Well, we'll find out if there are any takers as they're coming by.
Looks like Harvick wants to come down pit road. He's looking there and looks like he's going to decide not to.
All right, let's take a look at the championship point standings right now, because the battle for second place, look at this. Right now, as it stands, 1 point difference between Edwards, Keselowski, and Allgaier and Bliss still have a great battle going for fifth. Stay with us. The scoring pylon shows you Kyle Busch is out in front of the field of 43 that started, and we have a total of 33 cars still on the track. Pace cars off, and the green flag flies again at the Great American Speedway with Busch, Harvick, Kane, Kenseth, Keselowski. That's your top 5. Kyle chose the inside line, and Harvick staying right with him.
Yeah, Harvick digging up on the outside here.
And it looks like he's trying to pull ahead. We've had 3 different leaders. It's been Busch, Kenseth, and Brad Keselowski. Keselowski led a total of 3 laps. Kyle has led 51. Harvick would like to get his name into the mix. Remember, he has won here more than anybody in the field. In fact, anybody ever. 4 times.
It looked like Harvick led that lap.
Yeah, that was almost a dead heat right there at the start-finish line.
He did lead, so our 4th different leader and 4th lead change.
This gives these guys a real opportunity to see how they stack up with Kyle Busch now. They're there on fresh tires. They've made their adjustments. Are they good enough now to hang with him and possibly beat him here today?
Yeah, it looks like Kyle Busch's car was a little loose that first lap or so when he was down on the inside of Kevin, but the longer they run, it looks like his car gets better.
It's Casey Kane in the Great Clips 10. Then behind him, the 16 of Matt Kenseth, who's a 2-time winner here. Brad Keselowski on the high side. Whoa! And the caution's going to be out for the 2nd time. Michael McDowell, who's in a battle for the 10th position in points with Michael Annett, turns it around right at pit entrance. He goes back out onto the track, and we're looking to see if there was any damage to the car where he might have brushed the wall.
Well, I see some damage on the left front looked like from where he went off the racetrack. Could be a little damage on that right rear.
I think the right rear tire is flat there.
Yeah, he's trying to get this car woed. He's got a problem. See all the traffic going by on the inside. That's where it gets tough. He needs to get to the bottom of the racetrack to get onto pit road. He also has a flat tire, as you can see right here now. He's having a hard time controlling the car. And now it goes around when he tries to get down on pit road.
So let's go back a lap earlier, and you'll see why he had a tire going down.
Ooh, yeah, right there it is. You can see the contact.
Lucky that all he had is a flat tire out of all of that.
Let you know that it's going to be Justin Allgaier getting the benefit here as he gets the lucky dog.
This is kind of what set it up now. Top 5 fastest pit stops. That was under green, all 4 tire stops. You see Kyle Busch's team stepping it up on pit road as well, 13.7. Robert Richardson Jr.'s team, 14 flat. It puts him up there in the top 5.
Let's take a look at the comparison between the 33 and the 18.
Yeah, right there, Kyle Busch, again, his team 13.7. That's about a second faster than Harvick's team. Harvick made up a few tenths of a second on the drive time down pit road, but still Kyle Busch's team getting it done.
And you see all the race leaders staying out. Green flag waving, meaning pit lane's open. Keselowski thought about it. Let's listen in on Kyle Busch's radio.
What are you mad at me about, Jeff? That come to pit road too good?
Yeah. I mean, it was legal. You got a lot of space up on that 60. Just don't need to push, you know. We can do that when we really, really need it.
It doesn't make much sense to push that pit road, getting on pit road when you have a 10-second lead or thereabouts. So that's what they're talking about. They wait, wait till you really need to make up some ground when you have somebody that's bearing down on you before you take that chance.
Yeah, that's where he'd got a big advantage, was coming to that point to where we start our timing. So that's where the big difference was, that Kyle really beat people quite a bit to that point.
Well, as we get ready for a break, and you see it the first 2, you got Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch. Between them, 62 Nationwide Series victories. 34 by Harvick, 28 by Busch. And as we get ready for that break, let's go over the wall with John Busolo, the front tire carrier for Eric McClure. This is the last round of pit stops.
All right, boys, here we go. Here we go. Right here. Okay. Got there a little busy on pit road. It's all right. Get tire on there. Old tire back to the wall. Grab my fresh tire. Might have a little delay here. Wait for Rich to come around. Get it full. Index. Get that grill screen nice clean. All right. And he's off.
And John's winded.
Well, you can just see how much coordination it takes right there between all the crew members when you make those stops. I mean, that's a lot of work being done in a very short amount of time.
Right behind Eric McClure is Justin Allgaier. He is the Aaron's lucky dog, as I think that was a plastic bottle that just came out of his window screen. They just gave him the one to go, and you can see a lot of guys are taking advantage of this. Vince?
The 12 of Justin Allgaier, you saw and noted that he had that pit issue earlier, got the lucky dog. They're going to make a wedge adjustment, also take the opportunity to top off on fuel and give him a new tear off as well to make the view a little cleaner for Justin Allgaier. Car is loose, but they're making the adjustments. They know it's a long race, plenty of time.
All right, thanks for the update, Vince. As we mentioned, 14 cars now on the lead lap, as there is Kevin Harvick shown as our race leader, Dave.
And he has a choice on which line he would like to restart in. Last time, Kyle Busch had the choice. Here was a discussion between Harvick and crew chief Ernie Cope about which one to pick.
What are you thinking on the restart?
Right at the top. 10-4, watch on the big screen. He kept getting loose underneath you.
They saw what was 10-4. Thank you, Kevin. They saw what was happening to Kyle Busch, and they're going to go ahead and stay in the top group, guys.
You like that call there, driver?
Well, that's what worked for him last time. He was making that work. He had the lead when the caution came out. They were putting on a great battle there. Side by side, they were almost 3 laps worth of side-by-side racing. So I think that I would have to make that work, try to make that work again.
All right, let's reset it for you. You've got Kevin Harvick, your leader. Kyle Busch, second. Casey Kane, Matt Kenseth. Then it's 5th, Brad Keselowski. 6th, Mike Bliss. 7th is Mears. 8th, Leffler. 9th, Reagan. And Joey Logano rounds out your top 10. They come through the turn 4 area down the front stretch, and green flag flies, and look at Kyle tucking right back in behind the 33.
Well, this time Kevin Harvick gets to control the restart, so he can go when he can go actually before the 18, so he gets the advantage now coming off the corner on the bottom of the racetrack.
Casey Kane on the underside of the 16. It looks like we're going to try and do this 3 wide coming down the back stretch. It looks like Keselowski wants to stick his nose in there. Can't get it done. But now comes up alongside the 10. Here comes Casey Mears in the 29 trying to follow.
Yeah, Casey Kane didn't have much choice there, but to back out, he was kind of the middle part of that sandwich, and not a good place to be here at Texas.
Up front, Harvick maintains the race lead over Kyle Busch. Busch has led 52 laps. Harvick has now led 6.
Now you see Harvick, if he can keep this lead, he can keep that 18 car running in some dirty air. And he's going to probably fight pretty hard to keep the lead.
Here, I think here comes the lead.
And he's twitching, and he manages to hold on, and Kyle takes the lead from Kevin Harvick coming out of 4.
Yeah, it looked like Harvick got into turn 3. His car washed up right in the center of the corner. Opened the door a little bit for Kyle Busch, and he took advantage.
In 3rd place is Matt Kenseth, and they're all about equally spread out there, as you can see from that view. Let's go back and show you another look at this, because Kyle, for just that split second, was awfully loose.
Look right there. You can see Harvick just couldn't get his car to stay down. Kyle Busch really just driving the wheels off of that thing. You can see him wiggling the front tires back and forth. He knew that was his opportunity. He had to clear Harvick before they got off of turn 4.
And here he goes again, setting sail, as he's got a half a second lead already over Kevin Harvick, and he's now up to 54 laps led. We said it earlier, he has led over 100 laps in 5 different nationwide races here. It's like he almost has this place memorized.
Well, he certainly has it figured out, for sure.
You wanted to see the totals? They are very impressive, to say the least. There they are, the 5. And there's where he finishes. 3 wins, a 7th being the worst. Oh, and he only led 113 that day. Oh. All right, well, he's still leading here. There's still a lot of guys that want to say in this, and they're all behind him. Only 3 races remain, and Jimmy Johnson holds a commanding lead in his quest for an unprecedented 4th straight championship. Tomorrow, he looks to foil the hopes of Jeff Gordon, who's going for the season sweep here at Texas. It's the Dickies 500 tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern on ABC. Coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown. Back here, we are working lap number 81 of 200, and then 61 of those laps have been led by our race leader, Kyle Busch, and there he is with a 2.2 second lead over Kevin Harvick. Let's get you up to speed, courtesy of Nationwide Insurance. And Jamie, you're up.
Well, just a couple moments ago, we saw crew chief Jason Ratcliffe for Kyle Busch talking to the NASCAR official. Apparently, NASCAR was warning them to maintain your line choice. Now, the spotter, Jeff Dickerson, crew chief, they're all kind of confused because they never heard a warning and they've never really heard of that. So they're talking to their driver and trying to figure it out right now. Meanwhile, the 18 continues to dominate right now, looking for his 8th win this season. Dave?
Kevin Harvick running second, gathered himself back up after almost spinning out in turn 3. We know Danica Harvick is the listed owner on this car, but Kevin is also obviously involved in the ownership. So I asked his crew today, how often is he in the shop? They said every single day, but he does not micromanage. General Manager Rick Corelli, crew chief Ernie Cope, he lets us do our jobs, but he's there and he has input. And so does Danica. Jamie?
Well, the number 10 car, Casey Kane, behind the wheel of that car. The car has been great all weekend. They have been working on some things. Right now, Casey Kane just saying that it's a little bit sluggish on the restarts. Said he may have a car problem on those restarts, telling his crew chief, Stuart Cooper, that. But great car for Casey Kane. Great run so far. This is his last race for Braun Racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Now, the 11 car of Mike Bliss, we've told you all day, he is in the hunt right now for that top 5 position. Currently about 20 points, a little over 20 points separate him from that 5th place position. He is in 6th. Mike Bliss, a lot assume that he will be in this 11 car next season in 2010, but he told me today that this car is still looking for a sponsor, and he is still looking for a ride full time, just making it work race to race. Dave?
Matt Kenseth looking to the high side. They're getting lots of pressure from behind right now in that 16 car. And this morning I asked Eddie Pardue, what's the best thing about racing with Matt Kenseth? He said very determined, never gives up. That's going to be a good thing today, because during that first run, as we now see Keselowski getting underneath for the pass, that car was very, very tight for Matt Kenseth, and they didn't fix it much on that first stop. So Matt, patient now, has to be patient as Keselowski goes by. Shannon?
Brad Keselowski's future starts this weekend. He has taken over the number 12 car on the Cup side in Penske Racing, but he is still very focused on this Nationwide team. Said this week that he feels that they still have a lot more wins in them. I asked Pops Yuri Sr. today how many races he thinks that he can win. He said, I have a feeling we could win at every single track on the rest of the season, and that is 3 races. The car's been good for the 88 car. No changes so far. Vince?
Casey Mears is subbing for Jeff Burton in the 29 car today. Mears' first Nationwide race since Homestead back in '07. He's having a good run today, running in the top 10 all afternoon. And it's interesting because his crew chief on the Cup side, Doug Randolph, you see them there on the right-hand side of the screen. He's listening to the radio today of his former team, the 29 on the Nationwide, trying to get a feel for Casey and his radio communication. These two haven't worked together before, and they're going to be working together here forward. Jamie?
And Jason Leffler in the 38 behind him sits 4th in points right now. I talked to his crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, this morning. He said, you know, we're pretty much locked in. We can't gain a position, can't lose a position. So we're testing. We're trying different things. And this car, totally different car, different front-end geometry. The pressure's off, and they're having fun. One of the best cars they've had all year. Just right now, we can't arc it to get it to the bottom. Look for bigger adjustments next stop. Vince?
Joey Logano's running the 20 car, currently 9th. He's got a new crew chief this week as well, and that's Doug Hewitt. Hewitt taking over for Dave Rogers, who has gone over to the Cup side to be Kyle Busch's crew chief. A lot of musical chairs for Hewitt. It's been a while since he's been on the box. He says he's trying to get a feel for the job again this week, but he's got a great team to work with, good cars, good people, and he's gotten a lot of help from Jason Ratcliffe, who's Kyle Busch's crew chief on the Nationwide side. Shannon?
Well, Vince, what a season it has been for David Reagan, who's currently running 11th. Started this race 2nd today. He's had a career-high top 5 finishes, and of course, he's been to victory lane 2 times this season, working with Dan Stillman, a new crew chief, Carl Edwards' former crew chief, for the first time this weekend. And so far, things have been very smooth for this team. They made a few adjustments on that first pit stop. It was a track bar and air pressure, but other than that, the 6th car has been pretty good. Now, Brian Vickers, on the other hand, he started this race struggling with this car. They actually decided to come down and pit a second time on lap 61 because they needed more adjustments. The car was just too loose. I spoke with Trent Owens and he said, listen, we didn't lose that much track position and it was very important to get this car right, and it has worked. Brian Vickers says the car is a lot better right now. He just needs track position.
2 cars back. You've got Brendan Gaughan racing for that Rookie of the Year. Just a little bit too tight up off the corner for him right now. He told me this morning that, you know what, I'm going for that Rookie of the Year title, but I'm going to have to win because at the end of the year, it's subjective. We have to go to a board and they have to evaluate. And with my 162 starts in the Truck Series with 8 wins there and about 33 Cup starts, they're going to need to see me to win if I'm going to win Rookie of the Year in the Nationwide Series. Further back, Carl Edwards, who's won a championship in this series, his car is still, at this point, radioing in that it needs to be a little bit better into the corner. It's still just a little bit tight. Mike Kelly, his crew chief, told me this morning they spent some time over the last week or so texting and talking on the phone, trying to get a feel for what Carl's range was when he talks 1 through 10, his scale. And right now, he says just a little. That's not a number, but I think Mike can understand what he means. A little tight. Vince?
You see Carl Edwards there, and it's a good second place battle up toward the front, and the pass is made as Carl makes the move. Carl Edwards working with a new crew chief this week. Of course, they made the switch between the 60 and the 60 this weekend. And there's the 12 of Justin Allgaier. He's working with the same crew chief, and he's happy about that. Chad Walter is his man, and Justin Allgaier came into this race 5th in points, leading the way in the Rookie of the Year, but just came over the radio. He's got his hands full and says, I know it's supposed to come around, but boy, is it a handful right now. Loose race car for the 12 of Justin Allgaier.
So that's the 14 that are on the lead lap. A total of 10 cars are out of this race so far. And as you can tell, Kyle Busch is still the man up front by 4.2 seconds over Casey Kane. Kevin Harvick is in 3rd as we approach halfway.
Got a chance for you to win $10,000. It's the Pick 12 Challenge. Correctly order how all 12 championship drivers will finish relative to one another in this week's race. Submit your answer at to submit your answer, go to ESPN.com. Pick 12, closest entry could win $10,000. The winner will be announced the following week in the first 30 laps, so make sure you tune in. That's tomorrow. Right now, Kyle Busch is out in front, riding with Brad Keselowski in 5th position. There is Kyle the man. He's opened up a 3.8 second lead on 2nd place. Almost timed that with an egg timer as we hit halfway in this one. He's making all those predictions look very good.
Well, he's looking pretty good right now, but the other guy looking really good that I've been watching a lot is Casey Kane. I mean, Casey's been hanging right there as far as lap times with Kyle Busch and looking really strong driving that number 10 car. So he's another guy that's going to be, these guys have to reckon with him before this thing's over.
Yeah, I think Kyle might have a little extra in that tank, though, and as Casey closes in on him, we're going to see if he can pull away a little further. I think he's just out there just riding right now.
So Harvick right there, 33, running 3rd. Right behind him, Mike Bliss in the 11 in 4th. Want to go back to the story Jamie reported just a minute ago about the warning given to Kyle Busch and the rest of the field after the last restart. Listen to the radio traffic on the 18 channel.
Hey, Jeff, did you hear them come over the radio and say something about maintaining your lane choice until you get to the start-finish line? Yeah, but I don't. Were they talking about us? Yeah, I've never heard of that before. All I hear is no passing before the start-finish line.
New rule for tomorrow. It'll be in the driver's meeting.
Well, it's been in place since the double file restarts came to pass this summer. The word is you're supposed to stay in the lane you're in until you cross the start-finish line. See how Kyle Busch went up into the outside lane there?
Yeah.
Not supposed to do that on these double file restarts, and that's what the warning to Kyle was about, and it was also given to the rest of the field as a general warning.
Yeah, the natural tendency there is for Kyle Busch to tuck up behind Kevin so he can follow him through the corner and have a good arc into that corner. Well, you have to maintain that line like we're talking about, and that everybody's clear on that. They just must have forgotten.
Yeah, I'm clear as mud on that. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I know it's a rule, but I mean, Kyle, you know, you see the lead car to 33 at Kevin Harvick take off. There's nobody alongside him. He ducks in behind him as a driver. I'd be doing the same thing. I don't know if we got too many rules going on every now and then here.
Yeah, now I agree with that. I think that they both were fast enough taking off that it shouldn't have been a problem, but that is the rule.
I'll leave it to a driver. He's always got to question the authority. 70 cars slow down on the apron of the racetrack. Shelby Howard looking like he might have some troubles here and headed to pit road. And meanwhile, Mike Bliss beginning to work on Harvick for that third spot, boys in the booth.
Well, I tell you, Bliss in this 11 ride, he and Paul Wolfe are on the same page, and there he goes, streaking past Kevin Harvick. So move Bliss up to third, and what does that do to that battle for fifth? Well, it's down to 15 markers between Allgaier and Bliss. And let's check in with Shannon.
Well, you'll remember Mike Bliss coming off a great race back at Memphis. He finished fourth and led the most laps, 85. Right now, saying that car is a little bit tight, so expect some adjustments on that 11 car next time he brings it down.
Trouble on the front
straightaway. Trouble on the front straightaway as we got two cars, Morgan Shepherd and also Jeremy Clements.
Out wrecking here down the front.
That started out on the straightaway, actually, through the tri-oval.
Well, that will bring out our third caution. There is Jeremy. It was a battle for 27th on the racetrack at the time between the two of them.
It looks like they got together. You can see the damage on the right rear quarter panel of the 89 car, and you see some on the left front of Jeremy Clements. It's you can see these cars racing each other hard. They've got Joey Logano right there looking to try to get by these lap cars.
You can see he's got Brian Vickers right on his bumper, and Joey tries to make a little bit of room here. Actually gets into Morgan Shepherd just a little bit. That sends him into the zero of Jeremy Clements.
That's one more view there, and you can see just a little nudge. That's all it takes. So a tough break for both of these guys.
Yeah, and in Joey Logano's case, you know, lead lap car, you're wanting these guys that are lap down to give you just a little bit more room than that, a little bit quicker. And so maybe a little bit of impatience, but part of the racing that we see here at Texas.
So our third caution, and if you're wondering what's the record for fewest, it's 5 different times that we've had that, and who knows, maybe we'll get lucky. We've just passed the halfway point. We've completed 106 of 200 laps, and it's a time for everybody to come get a full load of fuel and also fresh tires, and here they come down pit road. And Jamie, we're sending it your way first.
Well, Kyle Busch is running the same car he had a huge wreck with at Bristol too, but they rebuilt it and it is paying off big today. Right now he says he needs the front end longevity, so make it good for the long run. It's good on the short. 4 tires and air pressure. Shannon?
Someone else's car that's good on the long run is Casey Kane. He was running in second. Right now they're just going to make a slight air pressure adjustment and 4 tires. Mike Bliss right below Casey Kane on the left side of your screen. He says the car is a little bit tight. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment and add some tape to that front grille. Dave?
Kevin Harvick has been losing position because of a loose race car. The only change they made was air pressure increased in the left rear, and he's going to pick up spots on pit road, guys.
2 for Harvick, 2 for Kenseth. Bliss is the big loser. He drops 3. And Kyle Busch beats them all. So Kyle maintains his race lead. Let's take a look at the reaction of Kevin Harvick's team at the end of this stop.
Yeah, they just made a 13.8 second pit stop. Pretty fired up.
And let's update you on the Aaron's Lucky Dog. It'll be the 27 of Jason Keller. There he is. As he'll get the free pass and get back on the lead lap, and that will give us a total of 15 cars on the lead lap when we go back to Green Flag Racing here at Texas. Under our third caution here at the O'Reilly Auto Parts Challenge at Texas, as it's still Kyle Busch up front. Let's go over the wall with David Smith-Tilley. He's the tire carrier for the #1 car, James Buescher.
You're going to see how this is. This pit road gets congested. You see Robert Richardson Jr. pitting just before they are. They have to kind of go around that car, and you know, not only the car has to get around, the crew members also have to work around this traffic on pit road. Get in the car. You see they take that tire back to the pit wall.
One of the crew guys almost got bumped by Richardson as they went back out. Getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing for you. Tony Raines and Shelby Howard got the wave around, but they are still at least 1 and 3 laps down, respectively. And it is Kyle Busch on the high side this time with Kevin Harvick underneath.
We saw Harvick make that work on that high side. Let's see if Kyle Busch can, but Harvick's hanging tough on the inside.
Well, look at all the sparks coming out of the 10 of Casey Kane.
Yeah, he's got big-time sparks flying out from under that car.
See if we can see it again, and he is dropping back. Yeah, he's still got this issue. There is something wrong with the 10.
Well, he's still kind of up to speed, but he's...
look out!
He may have a problem with the sway bar. Something going wrong right there with that right front.
Yeah, well, Mike Bliss wants to get past him as quickly as he can because this is going to get worse before it gets better if he stays up, and now he finally gets out of the way.
Yeah, he was trying to keep digging there, but he had something wrong.
And that's a shame. He had a fast race car.
Certainly
Guys,
did.
It looked like he might have an opportunity, if he got the opportunity to run with Kyle Busch.
Like he might have a right front tire down, actually.
Something happened. I'm just laying on the right side.
He qualified 4th, has been running in the top 5 literally all day. But now
it
has
looks
to...
like the tire's up, but he may have some kind of problem with the suspension on the right front.
It broke the arm.
You're talking about the sway bar arm right there. I feel like it broke the sway bar arm.
So a tough break for Kasey Kahne in his final ride with Braun Racing this year in that car, as a good run goes for naught here on lap number 113.
Could have possibly happened when they let the jack down, Andy, on the pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, it could have, and it's just a shame there that...
Watch right ahead from...
Yeah, you can see the car looks like it's kind of pinned down that right front, and you see all the sparks just flying out from under it. They really rely on those sway bars to hold the platform of these cars, and Tim Brewer can kind of explain us a little bit more to us about that in our Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim?
Thanks, Andy. Look at the size of the sway bar arms right here. Now, this is an older arm, but they're running sway bars in these cars this big right now. What that does, it puts a tremendous strain on all the mounting locations, like back in this area right here. But you actually put a bolt through here to hook the heim joint up to, and you affix it to the A-frame. But when you're running a sway bar of this size, it puts a tremendous strain on all the suspension components. Andy?
Yeah, Tim, they had to take that car behind the wall. They're probably going to try to see if they can fix it, maybe get it back out there. But it's undrivable with that sway bar arm off of there.
That's Brad Keselowski and Matt Kenseth, 3rd and 4th on the racetrack. They're about a second behind Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Well, Harvick's just ahead of him. It's Kyle Busch that's a full second ahead. They're 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, all in one view.
See a lot of these drivers trying to move around on the racetrack to see if they can find some more grip or some more speed as we move forward in this race.
And Joey Logano, remember the handful he had throughout practice and qualifying? Well, right now he's got a race car that is now back into the top 5. There's David Reagan right behind him, Casey Mears, who came in at the last minute for Jeff Burton, and Mike Bliss.
Yeah, Casey Mears doing a fantastic job. He had no practice whatsoever in this car. Having a nice run. He's kept it up in the top 10 all day long.
And if you weren't with us at the beginning of the broadcast, hasn't been in a nationwide seat since 2007.
Yeah, I talked to Casey. He was walking out to pit road. They were getting ready to qualify the nationwide cars, and I asked him how many laps he had in the car. He said 0. I haven't been in a nationwide car in 2 years.
This will be it.
And on top of that, it's not his seat or anything else in this car, so he's had to adapt to all kinds of different situations. Vince?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And in fact, that's why Clinton Boyer is not in this car. Boyer normally shares the ride with Jeff Burton, but Boyer and Burton are completely different sizes when it comes to the seat. This is not Mears' seat either, but they were able to put some styrofoam and some cushion in there to make it fit him a lot better. So quite a nice performance for Mears. And Dan Deeringhoff, who's back on the box for the 29 as the crew chief. They lost about 4 or 5 spots on that last pit stop because they had a lug nut held off, but they came back on the radio and told Casey, don't sweat it, we got a good car, pick him off on the track, and he's doing just that.
Well, he's getting picked off right now by Mike Bliss because Bliss has picked up some horsepower and got some more grip and moves into 7th and looking to get 6th with Joey Logano. And here he comes underneath him, guys.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job on the track. If I can get that pit crew working as good in the pits as what he is on the track, they'll have something today.
Yeah, they had just a little problem on the left side of that 4-tire change, which got them behind a little bit. But Mike Bliss just driving the wheels off this thing.
Shannon, you've caught up with Casey?
Well, Kasey Kahne has climbed out of his car. I know that this is not the way that you wanted to finish this race. We heard sway bar. Can you tell us exactly what happened?
Yeah, it just broke, so then it just lays on the right front. The whole car's on the right side, scraping the ground, and you can't race like that. But this whole Great Clips Toyota team did a great job. They had good pit stops. Man, I think we were the only ones. Kyle was gone, but at times we were faster. So if anybody had a shot today at this point in the race, I think we did. And so, I mean, that's good to know. We're going to race 8 races next year with this team and great clips, and I look forward to it.
All right, good luck to you, Casey. We got a wreck on the track, guys. We'll hand it up to you so you guys can take care of this.
Yeah, Mike Wallace, brand new sponsor with Newtone, and that's not the way he wanted to get on TV. He was running 20th. He was involved, a 3-car deal. And there's Justin Allgaier. This is huge implications because Rookie of the Year is at stake for him, and also 5th on the podium.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage. You see, he shuts the car completely off, turns the battery off. He's getting out.
Yeah, I'm good. Just got super loose up off there. Tried to hold on to it, couldn't do it.
Sounds like this whole thing may have been because he got loose coming off the corner. He'd been running that higher line, and we'd heard him talk earlier in the race about his car coming in. He knows it's supposed to come in later, but these restarts have been difficult for him.
He was running 13th. Take a look, and there he is. He's loose.
Yeah, I say so. He was way up. He'd been working the top of the racetrack some. Just like Dale said, the car's looking for grip. Just didn't find what he was looking for there. Too bad Mike Wallace got involved in that. Michael McDowell also.
McDowell's in a battle for 10th in the points championship with Michael Annette. There's Mike Wallace, as we mentioned in the 01 also. So 2 guys that were trying to secure positions. He was 30 points ahead at the moment that this took place.
Yeah, this is higher than what we've seen anybody else. You can hear him kind of play with the throttle on it.
Hold your brake, hold your brake, hold your brake, hold your brake.
And the other cars came piling in. We got through the fast part of the racetrack on that exit of turn 2.
All right, man, we got it. Both ends right here.
Well, you heard Rusty, the guys talk about it at the beginning of the countdown. Turns 2, turns 4. And it just bit Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, he'd been working that high lane, like I said, for quite a few laps. It wasn't like he just went up there just that lap and got loose. He had been up there quite a bit during the day.
When your car's loose like that, you go to where you don't have to turn the steering wheel as much, and obviously looking for that grip that you're talking about. So that's why he would be up there. Vince?
Yeah, Dale, just before Allgaier spun, he had just come over the radio and he said it's just way too loose in the middle, and then it's too tight on exit. And just after that radio communication, he lost it. So Allgaier, as you guys have talked about, had been searching on the track a little bit, but definitely had his hands full.
And you can see the frustration on Justin's face. And we can tell you that we'll sort out the points because there's still a lot of racing to do, but not good for Justin Allgaier. For Kyle Busch, well, he has now led 101 laps. That is 6 times here at Texas Motor Speedway. We'll update you on some other stats when we come back. Well, we are under our 4th caution here at Texas Motor Speedway. It is lap number 124 of 200. And let's take a peek at the points because there's a dramatic change going to be taking place. As you can see, 5th place right now. Mike Bliss has moved ahead of Justin Allgaier, and Allgaier still has some spots to drop. There's a couple more cars that could affect that. As they come down pit road, doesn't look like any of the front runners are, except Brian Vickers is. He's come in, and so is Carl Edwards.
Yeah, these cars are not giving up a lot of track position by coming in. They were towards the back of the lead lap car, so they'll get in here and make an adjustment or two and see if they can get better.
Yeah, Jason Keller right behind them, taking this opportunity to make some adjustments to his car and put some tires on it.
You see they're putting tires on the Jason Keller car, but just making adjustments on Brian Vickers and Carl Edwards' cars. Dave?
Now you notice they didn't put any tires on Carl Edwards' car. The discussion up and down pit road has been, hey, we've got about 76 laps left, and one thing you don't want to have is no tires to throw on in a short run at the end of this race. You know, maybe 20 to go or something like that. So splitting up these the last few laps here, this team and others decided to either stay out, and in this case, Carl wanted the car to just get tightened up a little bit with a track bar adjustment, but they didn't put any tires on, saving their 2 sets for down the road.
All right, makes sense. See if that strategy pays out. Let's check in on Trevor Bain because he is our in-race reporter, and let's talk to him.
Hey, Trevor, Dale Jarrett, got a second to talk?
Sir.
Well, how's your day going so far?
It's a little bit up and down right now. We're just trying to get back on the lead lap here. Hopefully we can get a lucky dog here at the next caution. car's been really on top of the racetrack all day, rear end sliding around, and you know, we tried to tighten it up, and then the front end lost grip too, so then it was a four-wheel slide. This last run here was actually the best the car has been all day, so you know, we're making changes in the right direction. We just got to keep going that way, and hopefully it'll stand up on a long run here, and like I said, maybe we can get back on the lead lap and then work our way to the front by the end of the day. We still got, I guess, around 80 laps here to go or somewhere in there, so maybe we'll be all right.
Seen you searching around on the racetrack a little bit. Is that second groove coming in any at all?
Did for a couple people, but not for us, because we're having to slow down so much on corner entry that you really don't get the benefits of running the high line, you know. So if we could get the car to be more stable on entry, then maybe we could run the top. You definitely can for about the first 3 laps, but then, like I said, once we lose our rear grip, we have to move back to the bottom and almost force the car to be tight by diming in the corner instead of making it a big arc and getting the rear end out from under us.
All right, buddy, thanks for talking. You're now in that lucky dog spot. Keep it up and get it back.
Sir, thank you.
Yeah, he'll get the lucky dog next time around if he can stay in that position. James Buescher gets it here in this caution. So that puts Buescher back in 14th. Our 14 cars on the lead lap here with 75 to go.
Still under caution time for our Verizon Wireless race rundown. Kyle Busch got the lead at lap 11. He's been out in front a lot.
Oh, man, he hasn't looked back since. I mean, he went around outside of Matt Kenseth right there, and that car has been bullet fast. Most of the day, 2 3/10 of a second faster than anybody. Folks, that's fast.
Kyle's led 107 of the 127 we've run so far. Meanwhile, Carl Edwards started at the back.
Carl Edwards has moved up 28 spots as we get to this point. He's done an outstanding job of coming from the rear of the field up to about 12th, 13th position, but he just hasn't been able to go any further than that, and Kyle Busch has checked out.
Race for 5th in points has taken a twist today. Mike Bliss running well. See him passing Kevin Harvick here. Bliss running 6th on the racetrack for now. He's 6th in points starting the day. Well, the guy he's chasing in the championship just had trouble in turn 2.
Oh, that trouble turn 2 right there. Justin Allgaier just got loose and lost it off of turn 2 and slid down, and ooh, just gets in the wall. Look at this, bam! Ooh, tears that front of the car up big time, and now he's lost some points.
And sadly for Allgaier, instead of continuing on the racetrack, he has just come from the medical center. Jamie, what's he thinking?
Well, Justin has been checked and released. He's okay, but you were complaining on the radio about your car. What exactly happened leading to that?
Well, actually, you know, as frustrated as I was about how we were running, the car with the Verizon Wireless Dodge actually wasn't that bad. Just a little bit free there on new tires, and I like to go up to the top. You know, we can make the top work there after, you know, quite a few laps into a run, but on the start it just was pretty loose, and I'll be honest with you, I got tight over the bumps and tried keeping it turned to the bottom or turned on, you know, into the lane we needed to be at, and unfortunately it snapped around and tried saving it. And unfortunately, you know, I was hoping nobody would hit us going on the back straightaway, but it's so tight on the back straightaway here that ended up, you know, taking out some other guys' days. Feel sorry for them, but just glad we're okay, and we'll get up the next 2 races.
Thanks, Justin. We're back to green, guys.
Yes, we are with Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski, Mike Bliss, David Reagan. That's your top 6. Harvick's got the low line. Kyle, door to door as they come out of 2.
Yeah, I guess a nice run off of turn 2 there. You could see those bumps that Justin Allgaier was talking about, those guys going through right in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Makes it a handful to hold these cars. Kyle Busch is able to get the lead back right here.
Want to update, Michael McDowell has been released from the Infield Care Center. That's good news as well. The 96 driver out of this race.
Seems like every restart, Kevin Harvick really gets going good, but once they get through the corner, it seems like that setup that they've got under that 20 or that 18 car is just so much better than all the rest of them.
A lot of 2x2 down the backstretch and into 3. There you can see Kenseth and Keselowski side by side. Then Reagan and Bliss right behind them.
Yeah, and Casey Mears sitting there right behind them, wondering, wanting somewhere to go. He doesn't have any place that he can make it 3 wide. So he's just waiting for an opportunity to go by on the inside.
So great nose to tail action here as we're working now with 70 laps to go. From high above, you get a perspective of those 5 cars battling it out from 3rd on back.
Yeah, that was a great shot behind the 6 car there. You can see as he came out of turn 2, the banking kind of went away and he got loose.
Keselowski holds off by less than half a car length, but here comes Kenseth again, looking underneath. May have him this time.
Well, you can see that front tire on Matt Kenseth's car going back and forth. You can see him just working that car all the way off the corner.
Yeah, you can see it looked like he had him cleared there off of 2, but here comes Keselowski back on the outside once again. Keep waiting for Matt Kenseth. This is his kind of race. You can see him get a little bit loose right there, though, to make his way towards the front and see if he can battle Kyle Busch some here.
Kenseth, a 2-time winner here at Texas Motor Speedway in the Nationwide Series. Now sort of falls back into single file with Keselowski in front. And David Reagan trying that higher line. Doesn't seem to be helping all that much. These guys right now, they're about 2 seconds behind our race lead.
Yeah, I think that's part of why Matt kind of maybe backed out there. His car wasn't that good on the inside of the car, but also he was seeing the leader get away from him, so now they'll get kind of single file and see what they could do.
David Reagan's going to take a look at inside of Kenseth. So the 2 Roush Fenway teammates go side by side, and there's Bliss right behind. That's 4th, 5th, and 6th. Let's check in with Dave.
And you guys are right on it about sawing that wheel back and forth. Matt said that it's better on this run, but it's just a little bit free. And the longer he runs, then the nose starts to come up on him. So he's got a situation at the beginning of the run where it's tough to control, like right there again, but loses some aero advantage toward the longer end of the run, guys.
You can see right there, he just flipped the switch off on the dash, and that's probably the front tire blowers. He's wanting those tires to build up a little pressure because you can see working that steering wheel, he's really loose right now.
Tough racetrack to drive loose, too, and as hard as these guys have to drive these cars with the tapered spacers, and as rough as it is, makes it a handful. As we see Matt really working the steering wheel. We watch the throttle. He's trying to get in the gas, and then he has to get off of it for a minute.
You can see really working that steering wheel. By turning those blowers off of those front tires, they'll actually build up a little more pressure and make the car tighter. See him now going down to the bottom of the racetrack on his teammate, Reagan.
You see, he was able to make that higher line work coming off a turn 4 there to get a run. Now they're going down the back straightaway. See if his car is good enough now to go on the inside of Reagan and keep it down and make the pass.
Not missing anything up front. Kyle Busch leads by 1.4 seconds. This is some of the best racing we have on the racetrack, and it is for a top 5 through 8th position.
See, Reagan was on that high side. It actually forced him into that, and he made a nice run, and he's got a beat now up on the 88 of Brad Keselowski.
It's Keselowski 3rd, Reagan 4th, Kenseth 5th, Bliss is 6th, and there's Mears right on the right side of your screen running in 7th. Bliss looking to come up underneath the 16. Can't get it done because the 16's going on the high side.
Yeah, he's on the move himself. Here we go. To make that work. Now, I think he has to move up there some to get some air back on the front of his car to get the nose to stick the way that he wants to, and he's able to complete the pass.
Just to show you how much grip the tires lose, you see that telemetry. He's getting out of the throttle completely in the corners for a good while. When they qualified yesterday, they were running these things completely wide open. I mean, just hammer down all the way around.
All of a sudden, David Reagan's lost 2 spots because there's Bliss going around him. Shannon?
Well, the car was a little bit tight on the last run. They did make some adjustments, but David Reagan, one of those drivers who's been on that high side pretty much since the start of the race. You saw him go down low, lost some positions. It's interesting, though, because speaking to some of the teams in the garage this morning, they said that high line did not come in during practice. So a lot of the guys who like to run up there didn't have the opportunity to see just how good they were up there. We've had cup practice, obviously, earlier this morning, and it does look like that higher line coming in, and it has worked for Reagan so far today.
That's something you really can't do is practice in that high lane because the track really never comes in good enough for you to really see what your car is going to do. I mean, you could go up there and practice, but the track is so dirty and lacks so much grip that you don't really learn anything. So it's something that develops during the race.
Notice who's sneaking into the picture in the back there, the 38 of Jason Leffler. He had fallen back, but the Great Clips Toyota team has sort of rallied here and started to chew their way back towards the front. Leffler in 8th. You heard Shannon mention the fact that earlier today there was final cup practice. We'll let you know that Jimmy Johnson was the fastest. I know that stuns absolutely everyone at home.
And yeah, I'm sure that the media and the wire services are going all over that he's the fastest in a practice session. You can see right there, Casey Mears able to make the pass on David Reagan.
And right here's a car, Joey Logano. We've seen many times how Kyle Busch has led races and got gone completely, and then at the end, Joey Logano will show up and beat him. He hasn't shown the strength yet today to be able to do that.
Well, and let's talk about that for a second, because Kyle has now led over 100 laps 12 times in 2009. He has not won in 3 of the last 4 of those races after leading over 100 laps, and Joey's one of the problems for him. Vince?
Well, Joey Logano just came over the radio in communication with the crew chief, Doug Hewitt, and said the car's not bad. He said it's really pretty good on both ends. He said, but I just don't feel like I have the speed that I need. And maybe that's going to be ultimately, you know, the difference maker here on this fast racetrack. He's got the balance, but he just hasn't had the speed, particularly this stint. So Logano working with a new crew chief and Doug Hewitt. But remember, these guys did work a few races together last year when Hewitt was subbing for Dave Rogers when Rogers was away on his suspension. So you see another good battle as Bliss and Kenseth work side by side. So keep an eye on the 20. Not done yet, but not completely happy with where he's at.
Logano in 9th. The battle you're looking for is for 4th. Bliss is on the low side in the 11. Sees a big opportunity to open up some room in the points battle for 5th and final spot at the year-end banquet for the NASCAR Nationwide Series in Miami.
Mike Bliss once again doing a tremendous job in this 11 car. He's just been solid every opportunity that he's been given to drive this car. See him continue to battle. That's a great thing about racing here at Texas. You're able to race side by side. This is fun for the drivers when you get this opportunity.
Yeah, this definitely looks like fun. And Kenseth now has really found something in that upper groove that's really helped his car come around too. Bliss has been really fighting just pit stops. He's lost a lot of track position in the pits and had to drive his way through the field a few times today.
And everybody is going to have to make one more. On the right of your screen, Joey Logano has gotten around Mears, move him up into 8th. And we mentioned Bliss. Well, he was 2nd at Dover, 2nd at Lowe's, 4th at Memphis in that 11 car. Is there any reason why he has done so well and clawed his way back into 5th in the points championship? He's 5th right now on the racetrack, but they're all chasing Kyle Busch. 3.8 seconds. He leads over Kevin Harvick with 55 and one more stop to go.
ABC's Saturday Night Football features regional action tonight. Most of the nation will see Brian Kelly's Cincinnati Bearcats hosting their Big East rival, the Connecticut Huskies. After landing in the top 5 of the BCS standings, can the undefeated Bearcats continue their dominance yet again? Other parts of the nation will see Oklahoma, Nebraska, or USC Arizona State. Check your local listings. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, ABC at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific tonight. Here in Fort Worth, we are watching Kyle Busch at the 3/4 mile mark of today's NASCAR Nationwide Series event dominate at Texas Motor Speedway. 151 laps down. Kyle Busch has led 131 of them. Change for 2nd about to happen here.
Brad Keselowski's got it going on the outside. Kevin Harvick's car, just kind of the handling's going off a little bit right now, but I tell you, Keselowski is hooked on the bottom of that track right now, looking good. Just moved up to 2nd.
So Kyle Busch has built up a lead over 2nd place of just about 5 seconds right now. This on the 18's radio a moment ago.
What have I always complained about at the end of these races here?
You're tight. No, negative. Same thing you're complaining about now.
This is it straight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I'm going to have to go harder than this on that last run.
Help me out there?
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out, but I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, caution.
Did he say the car was?
Oh, Joey Logano.
Joey Logano.
Wow. Report is the left rear tire on that 20 car went down. You see all the fender damage there. And then the crash brings the caution out with 47 laps to go. Wow, that's a tough hit.
All the abrasiveness of this racetrack just chews on these race tires, and these guys are driving the car so hard off into the corners that just unfortunate.
See the window right down and Logano moving around inside the car.
See him come off the corner there, and
there he is. Wow.
Wow. Just chewed that left rear tire up and just blew it out going down the straightaway, and he gets down to turn 3 there and doesn't make the entry.
Well, Brad, you hardly ever see cars blow the tires out in the middle of straightaways unless maybe he made some contact with somebody passing them where they actually rubbed on that left rear tire and it caused it to blow out like that. But you know, it usually happens in the corners or maybe X in the corners, but man, that was in the middle of the straightaway.
Yeah, it's scary.
So this will not be the day that Joey Logano contends for victory. Back to that radio on the 18 car, because they'll have their final pit stop, or what should be their final pit stop, coming up. What was he getting at there?
Yeah, I mean, he was obviously concerned about the end of the race because he's lost a lot of these races at the very end, but nobody could really understand what he was talking about.
Did he say it was free? Did he say I'm free?
Well, he was asking him a question. Some people were disagreeing with him. Yeah. Nobody was agreeing with anybody.
We hear about communication all the time, guys, but I'm like you. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, they're talking in code now, I think. So I would only imagine that he's talking about his car being loose. Jamie, set us straight.
Well, I will try to translate for you guys, and the award goes to Brad Doherty. He said free. Every time at the end of this race in Texas, he gets a tick free. That's what he was quizzing his team about. They all failed, by the way. So look for them to go back on air pressure to tighten them up. Alan, does that straighten you guys out?
That makes a lot of sense. I got these big old ears, so I can hear a little bit better than everybody.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
It was a good guess on your part. Thank you. So final set of pit stops coming up here for these race leaders. And if you're going to have a shot at catching this 18 car, whatever adjustments you make here, they better be good ones.
Yeah, this can be your last shot at it, really. I think a lot of them are starting to get out of tires, too, also. So here we go, pit stops.
They'll be with 45 laps to go, Jamie.
And Kyle Busch, as I was talking about, getting a tick free. He's concerned it's only going to get worse before the end of the race. They made an air pressure adjustment all the way around 4 tires. Fill it up with Sunoco fuel. See if he can take this baby to victory lane, Shannon.
Mike Bliss says he needs this 11 car just snugged up slightly. It's going to be 4 tires and air pressure. You see Brad Keselowski hungry for another win. They're going to make a track bar adjustment, 4 tires. He says he's also a little free. Dave.
Kevin Harvick also loose. Gave up 3rd place to put on 4 tires. Going to increase the air pressure in the right front and the left rear to take a little of that looseness out of the car. Kyle Busch goes by. Brad Keselowski goes by. Harvick finally taken off into a traffic jam.
That's not the time you want to be losing spots on pit road.
Tough. I'll tell you, Kyle Busch, though, once again, just puts himself in great position, and it's going to be hard to catch him.
So Kevin Harvick down to 5th position there as Kyle Busch maintains the lead on another set of stops. Hey, remember we talked to our in-race reporter just a little while ago, Trevor Bayne, said he needed to get himself the free pass? He's done it.
He just got it. He's back in lead lap right now. And I tell you, as a driver, that gives you a little extra step. Get you pumped up, knows you're back in the game. And with 45 laps to go, he might get some more positions picked up now.
Yep.
So the Aaron's car gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass, while Joey Logano's car gets loaded up on the rollback after a hard crash. Not often you see something go wrong on the straightaway, but when it does at high speed, it gets ugly quick.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Texas is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, official auto insurance partner of NASCAR, and Verizon Wireless, America's most reliable wireless network.
Under our 5th caution here at the O'Reilly Auto Parts Challenge at Texas, and here are the breakdowns for the top 5 in pit stops, and notice who is not on there, and that is the 33 of Kevin Harvick. Let's go back and show you what happened on that pit stop.
You can see right here, Kyle Busch had the best pit stop. You can see how Harvick's team stacks up against that. Almost 3 seconds off. Lost 2 positions coming off pit road.
So now let's watch the pit stop and see if you can see what exactly happened.
See right here, they're making their right side tire change. Right front tire changer's finished. The right rear is where they had just a little bit of a hiccup. Cost them a little time over there. Looks like both sides, the rear was just a little bit off.
Saved your worst one for the best time. Great.
And that was Kevin Harvick's assessment of the pit stop. I wouldn't call that morale building.
Well, the last pit stop of the day is the one you really want to nail. That's what'll get you the most as far as positions and finishing order. So I can see why he's frustrated.
Yeah, it's something they've been working extremely hard on over the year, and yeah, they had a great pit stop right before this, but they need to be consistent.
Vince, you've caught up with Joey.
It's good to see Joey Logano smiling after that hit, but not much you can do about that ride. But how was the car leading up to that point?
No, GameStop Toyota wasn't up to par all weekend. We weren't good in practice or qualifying, and we were about an 8th to 9th, 10th place car all day, and that's all we had. I don't know why. I don't know what the deal was. It didn't drive that bad. We just had no speed in the car, so left rear just popped, and it is what it is. It's over now, so go to the next one.
Glad to see he's okay as we go back green.
And it
It is Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski on the front row, then Kenseth, Leffler, Harvick, Bliss, and
we got some
out.
Right there, looked like Brad Keselowski got in front of Kyle Busch and backed off the throttle so he didn't get penalized. You see right there, he just about got run over.
So after that close call, everybody catches their breath. Now we'll go 3 wide down the backstretch.
And 4 wide here with Harvick making it 4 wide. Up, backs out. Thinks better of that situation.
See a little puff of smoke, looks like from David Reagan's car. Right rear. See if it's still there.
See everybody trying to steal as many spots as they can right now while the tires are good.
Another 3 wide situation with Carl Edwards in the middle right there trying to make a move.
Man, nobody giving here, boys.
Gonna go 3 abreast. That's Carl, the meat of the sandwich. Harvick down low, Bliss up high.
Yeah, you can see Carl go in there and kind of hold his line. That forced Mike Bliss to get out of the throttle.
Yeah, nobody seems to be able to get up that high and hold on to it.
This is for 3rd right here. Brad Keselowski, Matt Kenseth.
In front of them is Busch and Leffler. That's right. Jason Leffler has moved up into 2nd.
We saw these 2 right here race the last restart for a few laps side by side as Kenseth able to make that stick coming out of turn 2.
All right, now that everybody's sort of sorted out, never did get a chance to give you the wave arounds. McClure, Wimmer, Raines, Kenny Wallace. That means we now have 16 cars on the lead lap. Let's go back and take another look at this restart.
Now keep in mind that the leader is Kyle Busch. He is the one that controls the restart. And you see the 88 of Brad Keselowski get out there in front of Kyle. Now he has to be behind him when they get to the start-finish line, and he backs off the throttle and stacks them up behind him. Yeah, Matt Kenseth does a great job not to crash right there.
Yeah, he sure did. Looked like a situation that maybe Brad just for a minute forgot that he wasn't the leader, because for so many years that you were in that position, you were the leader of the race.
Well, right now, Brad finds himself in 4th, 2.1 seconds behind. That's the view out front. And you can see how far ahead Kyle Busch really is.
And the whole problem with that, it probably took any chance away unless we have another caution of him having an opportunity to win this race.
He is one of our 5 leaders.
Whoa!
Oh, and Brendan Gaughan just tagged the wall.
Yeah, he pounded it pretty good right there.
Keep coming. Keep coming.
Now, remember, he's in the Rookie of the Year battle with Justin Allgaier. Allgaier is out of this race, listed in 27th position right now.
And I'm sure NASCAR will be looking to see if any debris was put onto the racetrack.
Yeah, you see the concrete.
Brennan was 12th, but he is fading quickly. He's got a flat.
Come on, guys. Get tires.
He's got a lot of damage also.
This is going to cost him because it's going to put him a lap down. He is trying to get it around, and you can see the smoke coming off of that tire. It's already rubbing. That's Wimmer going underneath him.
He's going to bypass pit road this time by.
Which I'm sort of surprised at.
Ron, how bad does it look?
You can see he decides to go on that high line, which he does a lot. Really bumpy right there. You can see looked like he was fighting the back end, just no grip there as he got off of turn 2, and then as it flattened out, he pounded the wall.
He hits it right here at the safer barrier and does a lot of damage, but he also hits it again right here at the concrete. Green, he's also hit it again.
Yeah, I think maybe that second time did a little bit more damage. Now he gets it down on the apron to come to pit road.
So he was shown in 16th, the last car on the lead lap, and as we mentioned, him having to pit will put him a lap down, and this is going to have an effect again on the Rookie of the Year standings. Jamie?
Well, Marty, this may not be the last car we see rub the wall in 2. Why? Well, Kyle Busch said it best on the radio. He said the shading in turn 1 right now has cooled the track so much. We're carrying so much speed that we're getting free, and you're able to tag that wall into 2. So you see the shading right there. And we have a caution on the track for debris, guys.
Our 6th caution, and it is debris, and I have a good feeling that it came from the 62 car.
Yeah, but Jamie brings up a great point about that shading in turn 1. It does carry a lot more speed when they get that grip through the corner, and then they get to that exit where they don't have any grip, and it flattens out. We've talked about that quite a bit. It's a real tricky corner, just made even worse by that shading in turn 1.
Yeah, you like that grip that you have, but you're also going to pay the consequences for it, so you really have to be on your toes on the exit of that corner.
So Brendan Gaughan is 16th now, 1 lap down.
Yeah, he's got some real damage there, even to the rear suspension. You can see the rear end housing is knocked over. That left rear tire now hanging outside the bodywork on the left side.
We have 32 laps to go here at the Great American Speedway at Texas.
So this will give these guys one more opportunity on a restart to see if they're going to have anything for Kyle Busch.
So we're here now. Brendan Gaughan is going to be the free pass winner. This time around, the caution was brought out for debris, not for him hitting the wall, so that's why he's eligible.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's some guys in that field that are saying, wait a minute, it's his debris that caused it. I want that spot.
Technicality.
Stay with us. We're coming back.
ABC Saturday Night Football features regional action. Most of the nation will see Brian Kelly's Cincinnati Bearcats host their Big East rival Connecticut Huskies. After landing in the top 5 of the BCS standings, can the undefeated Bearcats continue their dominance again tonight? Others will see Oklahoma, Nebraska, or USC, Arizona State. Check your local listings. Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines, ABC at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific tonight. Well, got 30 laps to go in this one here at Texas today. Kyle Busch has been the dominant car. Brendan Gaughan into the wall just a bit ago, and then the caution for debris, and we'll show you the debris here. It happened on the back straightaway. It likely came from the 62 car, but it was the 66 car, Stephen Wallace, that actually hit it and kicked it up in the air.
Yeah, it kind of looks that way. It looks like it might be a piece of a side skirt. That's what it looks like to me right now. It looked probably a right rear or a left rear side. See John Westali hit it right there, knock it out of the way, but pretty flat. That's probably what it is.
Now, Rusty, I've never driven a race car at 190 miles an hour at a place like this, but what is that like when you hear something like that go up under your car?
You're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And the first thing you hope is that you don't blow a tire out or tear something up under the car.
Kevin Harvick sitting in 6th position, and his anger at his crew's last stop has continued.
Finish the freaking day. Can't have 3 good ones and 1 bad one. Congratulations. Great job. Every freaking time I got a chance to win, we screw it up. It all happens on pit road. Want to thank my guys. Done a real good job.
Cope, now, Ernie, he also said the car was plowing. Does he have a chance to make up the positions, and can he get it back together? He's obviously very upset about the last pit stop.
Yeah, well, we got back there in bad air, and now the car don't turn. So, I mean, that's what happens. You have a bad pit stop there late in the race, and now you're stuck back in traffic, and your car don't handle the same. So it's going to be tough. We're going to have to get a good restart, and hopefully we can get up there in some clean air.
We'll see what he can get, Jamie. He was one of the early challengers of Kyle Busch.
He was, and he still is, apparently. Jason Ratcliffe. Jason, you guys just adjusted for the changing track conditions. How much did you have to figure that in?
Well, we thought we made an adjustment because we were a little bit tight the stop prior to this. And he said it was too far. But we heard some other guys complaining about the same thing, just being too free. So I think half of it was the racetrack and half of it was the adjustment. Right there, we went about halfway back on it. Car's still a little bit free, but I think it's where we need to be to go to the end right here.
All right, he's going for 4 straight here. We'll see if he can do it, guys.
As we get ready to go back to green, Justin Allgaier is back out on the track, albeit 50 laps down, but points are points. And Bobby Hillin Jr., 33 laps down, is back out there. As we go back to green flag racing, it's Kyle Busch, Kenseth, Leffler, Brad Keselowski. That's your top 4.
Well, it looks like the 88 may be having some kind of problem on these restarts here. It's like maybe he doesn't have one of the gears. I don't know, maybe a while ago if it was 3rd gear or something, and now he doesn't have that. Get up to speed now, he's okay.
Trying to go too wide, down into 3, a little bit further back, and on the high side, whoa, Brad gets way high and may cost him. Casey Mears may get under him, and here comes Harvick. And Harvick, as you can tell, is hot under the collar.
And that's Mike Bliss right behind Harvick. He's actually dropped out of that 5th spot by falling back.
Yeah, Bliss is back to 9th right now. And again, that keeps changing this 5th and final position in the points. We'll let this race sort of sort out. And we're hearing a black flag for the 12 of Justin Allgaier, so he's not able to maintain speed.
He didn't have a lot of the body on that thing when he came back out, so I'm sure it made it difficult to get that speed. You see, here comes Casey Mears down on the inside. David Reagan, here comes Keselowski filling that spot.
Yeah, Brad realized the high side wasn't working at all. Let's get low. Here comes Harvick again, trying to get underneath the 6 of Reagan.
Won't get it done here. And there is Bliss right behind Harvick. That's 7th, 8th, and 9th.
You heard Ernie Cope talking about getting back in the dirty air. You're just not getting the air to the front of the car. And it's amazing how much it'll make these cars change the handling of it, trying to drive. And then if you're towards the end of the race, you're trying even harder as a driver. Sometimes you even complement or accentuate that problem to where it makes it even worse as a driver.
There goes Mike Bliss. Now, he's had a great car all day long, but he's just fought track position on pit road as well. And he's having to pass cars all day.
And Kevin Harvick is really steaming right now inside that 33 car.
Let's check out our Holiday Inn race summary as we continue to watch this battle for position. We've had 5 different leaders with a total of 11 lead changes. The average race speed, 128.9 miles an hour. 16 cars on the lead lap. We've got a bunch that are out. We've had 27 laps under caution. 19 cars out of this race. And that is a high for the 2009 NASCAR Nationwide Series season. 19 cars behind the wall.
See Harvick still battling here. He's our in-race reporter tomorrow. Hopefully he'll get over this, get a good night's rest, and have a nice conversation with him tomorrow.
Look at Brian Vickers going underneath Bliss right now. So all of a sudden, Bliss, who had gotten around Harvick, has dropped back 2 spots. And here he comes back, says, wait a minute, I'm not done yet.
It looked like Vickers got just a little bit loose off turn 2. Shannon?
Well, this has been a very long day for that 32 team. They started off the race very loose. They've come down and pit every opportunity that they could get to change something, chassis or air pressure. On this most recent run, Brian says that the car has gotten better, still just a little bit tight though. As you guys saw that he was a little bit loose, but he was saying it was a little bit tight last time I heard.
Thanks for the update, Shannon. As you can see the numbers on Brian, where he started and where he is right now. And oh no, Stephen Wallace into the wall. Also Michael Annett.
I don't know what happened with Stephen Wallace, but he got a ton of damage here.
Well, he is getting back around, heading for the pits. They were 17th and 18th. Both were a lap down. In fact, they were the only 2 cars that were 1 lap down.
Best we can, Steve. Come down pit road right now. Don't speed. Stop in the stall, guys. We're trying to clear the tires again.
Remember, Michael Annett was in the battle for 10th in the points position. Michael McDowell is already out of the race. He's 11th in the points. And remember that these were the only 2 1 lap down, so the next yellow, one of them would have gotten the lucky dog, and now neither one will.
Yeah, they were battling for this spot on the racetrack, and when you get to racing that hard, sometimes you find yourself in a little bit of trouble. Let's see from the replay here. You see Steven right there. Michael Annett trying to go by on the high side. You see the 66 car get a little bit loose, slide up in the 15 of Michael Annett, had a run, and just got into the back of him.
Boy, Tony Raines just gets by. All right, let's take a look at it in real speed. Listen.
Yeah, it all happened so quickly. You're carrying a lot of speed off that corner. You're well over 160 miles an hour on the exit of that corner.
Like I said, they had a lot at stake. Both of these teams did, trying to get that lap back. And they'll race hard for it. Just raced a little bit too hard.
Yeah, Michael Annett, in his defense, he probably thought he had a run on the outside. He did have a run there, but as Steven got loose and had to chase his car up, there wasn't enough time for Michael Annett to make that adjustment and not get into the back of him.
Dave?
16 car leaving after getting 2 tires. Kevin Harvick will take on 4 tires. Carl Edwards will take on 4 as well. The biggest debate was between Matt Kenseth and his crew chief Eddie Pardue. Leave it in Pardue's hands. They'll come out first in this group, but back in that dirty air that you guys have been talking about.
Man, I like the strategy. Man, they're not able to beat Kyle Busch heads up, so get some tires, see what you got.
Dirty air is not nearly as bad when you have better tires.
Right, so you can overcome it.
20 laps remaining. Kyle Busch stayed out, as did Leffler, Mears, Brad Keselowski.
This is going to get quite interesting now, these guys. This might be the advantage they need over that 18 car.
Well, we'll find out as we'll step out for one break here and come back to see who's going to win this race.
Down to the final 18 laps today at Texas Motor Speedway. Want to see a NASCAR champion crowned? Could happen next Saturday. Phoenix International Raceway, or in 2 weeks for sure at Homestead Miami Speedway in South Florida. One of those two, the NASCAR Nationwide Series champ's going to be crowned. You can join us for either one or both of those races. NASCAR.com/tickets would be the place to check it out. See this at just about every racetrack we go to. There's some aspiring flagman somewhere that's right along every move the flagman makes. The youngster's making it too.
He's got him backed up there. Hello, that young man's doing a good job. He's got his caution flag out, as we can see there on the right, and he's been up on the wheel to throw that green flag when they start.
You will find him on a short track flag stand somewhere in about 15 years or so.
That's great.
We were speculating whether the 88 had a transmission problem or not after these last couple restarts. Shannon, what's the answer?
Well, let's find out from crew chief Pops. What has been going on these restarts with your driver?
Brad is the worst at restarts of any driver I've ever seen, just to be honest with you. He's been that way ever since he's been here, but he said the sun's in his face and he can't tell where the lines are on the wall, so whenever he did go, he spun the tires, so we'll see what happens this time. We're going to try to count him down this time, see if we can make sure he knows when they're fixing to go.
Well, Pops, leave it to Pops to tell us how it really is, right, guys? Jamie.
Well, Scott Zipadelli here. He's with Jason Leffler, and you guys opted to stay out. How you feeling about your call there to follow Kyle Busch?
I think we're okay. I don't think we could beat the 18, and we know that. He's kind of out there playing around. But the Great Clips Toyota's been running real good. We've had some great pit stops. Jason's real happy with the car, so hopefully we can get a good, solid finish for Great Clips. And we obviously we'd love to win the race and dedicate it to all the military people that are affected by Fort Hood tragedy. And we want to say thank you from Great Clips and Braun Racing to all the men and women in the armed forces that have served us, past and present. We really appreciate their sacrifices. It'd be cool to win it for them, but you know, we'll see what we can do.
Well said. Thanks, Scott. Let's go over to Dave.
So, Jamie, Matt Kenseth left the decision squarely in Eddie Pardue's hand and then kind of questioned you a little bit when you only took two. How tough can this crew chiefing thing be some days, Eddie?
It's always tough. You know, it's a little bit of a gamble here for the City Financial Ford Fusion, but I thought it was worth the risk here. Go get something.
And get the track position by only taking two, stay ahead of those other guys?
I wanted to make sure I stayed in front of those guys. You know, I know it's important here, and I knew it's going to be tough, and I didn't want to lose anything else, so I thought he could do his job on two.
Kept what they had, got two. Vince?
With Dan Deringhoff, crew chief for Casey Mears. Casey earlier asked, get me up to third with some clean air. We might have something for him. Well, you're there. Do you have it?
Well, I hope we do. The all-day in Chevrolet has been real good today. We got him to third, but back there about 10th, we got fresh tires. So hopefully there's enough stuff in between us that the tires can't get to us, but we'll see what he can do with it.
We're about to find out. Should be an exciting finish, Marty.
Yes, it should, because you like the strategy of the guys who pitted for tires, especially, I would imagine you'd rather have four also.
Oh, yeah, in that situation, you want to get four tires. And I do understand the indecision there for Eddie Pardue, and he wants to make sure he had the track position and didn't want to give it away. Some of the other cars, it's a little easier decision because you're not giving up so much. You just go ahead and get four and take what it'll give you. So they were in a tough spot. They do have two tires, though, and that should help them right here.
Yeah, and anybody that thinks that Tony Uri Sr. there was only saying these things because Brad's going to be leaving in a few races, he would have said that if he was going to be there for 4 more years. That's just the way he does things.
All right, we've got time. Let's check in with our in-race reporter, Trevor Bain.
Hey, Trevor, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Sir.
All right, man, you've got yourself up into the top 10 now. You got anything for these guys?
Well, we got some guys with fresh tires coming up behind us here, but, you know, we're looking out the front windshield. I think we might have something for the 2701, and a couple of those guys up there, you know, they're really coming back to us on the end of that long run. These restarts are kind of killing us because, you know, it just really depends on what lane you get in. Sometimes the bottom will roll, but if everybody takes off, then the top's really the place to be to get off of turn 4 and get a run. So, you know, luckily it looks like we're 8th right here. We're going to be on the top. We're just going to look out the front windshield, try to move forward. If a couple of these guys with new tires get by us, so we'll follow through their holes and see if we can't get there. You know, our strategy's worked out pretty good so far from the last time we talked, getting the lucky dog and getting this Aaron's outdoor car back in the top 10.
All right, young man. Thanks for talking with us. You've done a great job. Have a good 15 laps here.
Sir.
Amazing 18-year-old, the way he handles himself through all the pressure.
He's got all the credentials. He's got it inside the race car, and he handles himself well outside the race car. So future star here.
Let's get an update on our race leader, Kyle Busch. Jamie?
Well, this could be interesting, Marty. The idea was to come in on the last stop and take 4 tires. That's what Jason Ratcliffe wanted. Well, Kyle Busch wanted 2 tires. So what'd Kyle do? I'll just stay out. So he stayed out and they got no tires. So let's see how this shakes out for him.
All right, here it is. The top 9 stayed out. Busch, Leffler, Mears, Keselowski, Bliss. That's your top 5. Then Buescher, Keller, Bain, and Wimmer. From 10th on back, everybody came in.
Well, I think that's the thing for Kyle Busch. He's got some cars behind him that did not take tires. That's going to be a buffer for him.
I'm doing the math. If Kyle leads every lap, that's 179. I'm going to tell you, Rusty Wallace, you're a pooch. You said 180, man. You're so far off.
Man, I'm sorry, guys. I've been trying really hard to get correct down here for our folks here at ESPN, but that's the closest I can get. But you know what?
Brad blew it, though.
Oh, he's out there with the old tires. They got some fresh tires behind him. It might be tough for Kyle Busch.
I got a mulligan. I take 179.
No, you don't. You said 115, Brad. He's already 164.
I'll get a mulligan.
Brad, 179. You got smoked, buddy.
I got my own rules.
Here comes the pace car. 15. It'll be 14 this time by Kyle and Jason Leffler. Oh, and Leffler does not get a good restart. Here comes Keselowski following Kyle.
Better start for Keselowski that time for sure.
Maybe he heard Pops.
Yeah, Pops must have got on him pretty big time right there. They say he's going to count him down and tell him when to go. He gave him the right signal.
Well, Joey Logano's been one of his nemesis. Here's the other, the 88 of Brad Keselowski, and he's trying to get up to old Kyle and see if he could take another victory away. Look at the action a little bit further back. Buescher's going high. That's opening the door. Here comes the 33 of Harvick. Kenseth gets around. Jason Keller's in the mix in the 27.
Yeah, you got some fast cars on new tires right here against cars that have not been as fast today and don't have tires.
Yeah, and these guys on the new tires, they just need a little bit of an opening, but if they get held up any at all, it's going to take away their chance.
Even on old tires, we'll tell you as you're watching all this, Kyle Busch has already opened up a half-a-second lead. The guy is on a rail. The battle for third, you can see, is Casey Mears, Keselowski, then Bliss, also the 16 of Kenseth. On the 7th, on the left side, Buescher and Harvick.
Yeah, once again, at 29 car, Casey Mears, fantastic job he's done. He had no practice in this car, and he's got it up in the 3rd spot right now. Here comes Harvick.
Yep, going underneath Buescher. And you can see the Kenseth that opens up some ground on Bliss. Vickers still trying to get back into this mix. We've documented the fact that he has not had the car handling the way he's wanted it all day long, but has managed to at least stay in the top 10. There's your race leader, this time by 11 laps to go, and it's an 0.8 of a second lead, and that's on used tires.
Yeah, 29.72 last lap for Kyle Busch.
And the guys with new tires are running 30s.
That was his fastest lap. 10th off his fastest lap of the day.
That's absolutely incredible when you really think about it. 11 laps right now. It'll be 10 to go this time by. And maybe Eddie Gossage might want to rename this racetrack Kyle Busch Speedway, because this guy is closing in on 4 in a row.
He might have to put a bounty out on Kyle Busch next time we come down here.
Kenseth and Keselowski, those two still going after each other. That is for third, and that's allowing Leffler to open up about a 0.3 of a second gap over them. He's in second. Here comes David Reagan and Brian Vickers trying to get into the mix. Carl also trying to get back into it. Edwards in 11th. Sort of got into the top 10, but was never able to get up to challenge for the lead after starting in the back of this field. The battle for fourth with Keselowski and now Kenseth, as Mears has opened up some ground in 3rd place now.
Yeah, Keselowski has been able to hold off Matt Kenseth there. You can see the 6 car now making a move on James Buescher in that 1 car this weekend. He had a nice run off of turn 2. See if he's able to complete the pass. No, he's not going to be able to quite do it.
Let's get more on the guy that's following these two. Carl Edwards, Dave.
Yeah, he'd hope to make a charge to the front, guys, but he believes he has a rear wheel loose, so he's kind of tiptoeing right now at about 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, I wonder what was wrong, because he did get 4 tires right there, and he's not able to really get going. And here goes Matt Kenseth. Speaking of getting going, he's getting by this 88 car. I think now if he can get a little bit of clear racetrack, he might be able to make up some ground on these leaders.
Move Kenseth to 4th, but he's 0.8 of a second behind Mears in 3rd. And it's another 2 seconds up to our race leader, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, these guys have tires, but all of these cars are so equal now. that it makes it difficult to pass. If you don't really get that run and complete that pass off the corner, it takes you another lap or so before you can get another run made at them.
Yeah, right now, the only thing that Kyle Busch needs to worry about is a caution. If it happened to fly now, it would put Matt Kenseth up there basically right behind him on a restart with fresher tires. I don't think there's near enough time for Matt Kenseth to catch Kyle Busch.
Oh, and the number 1 of Buescher brushes the wall coming out of 4. Manages to maintain momentum, but it gives an opening to Carl. Edwards underneath trying to make the pass, and he's got him clear coming out of 2. There's Harvick going underneath the 11. Now remember, Justin Allgaier is back out on the track. He has picked up 2 spots from 27th to 25th, and with Bliss backing up to 7th, it is a 1-point difference right now for 5th, and Allgaier's back in front. He started the day 59 in front. So he's basically driving a modified. There it is from the onboard.
You can see the radiator and the air cleaner from this shot.
And hats off to the crew for fighting. He's just able to maintain minimum speed.
Sometimes that's really hard. You got a car torn up this bad, you got to really drive hard to try to make that minimum speed.
Yeah, that's no fun as a driver when you have that situation right there.
Aerodynamically not very sound. There goes Bobby Hillen, who's also out there. He's running 23rd, 33 laps down. That's another team that has not quit today. Let's go check in on our race leader. Let's talk a little bit about Kyle Busch. Let's put it this way. The last driver to score 4 wins in a row at the same track, Jamie McMurray at Rockingham between 2002 and 2004. The all-time record in the Nationwide Series, 5. It's shared by Dale Earnhardt Sr. at Daytona and Jack Ingram at South Boston. So another page of history about to be written. While all that is going on, Vickers gets around the 11 of Bliss. So Bliss is going backwards, and he is now in 8th. Here comes Reagan closing in, and Carl Edwards.
And talking about Kyle Busch, this will be the 2nd of 3 victories if he's able to hang on here for the weekend that he's trying to accomplish. He won the truck race last night, has things well in hand right now. All he would like is that big victory tomorrow.
Yeah, Mike Bliss probably paid the biggest price of not getting tires that last time. He stayed out, and all these cars that had fresh tires were able to get to him, and he lost a lot of spots here in this last run.
2 laps to go, and boy, you have to tip your hat to Casey Mears.
That's unbelievable what he's done today in that car.
It really is.
Has not been in a nationwide seat since 2007. He got in the car, qualified it yesterday. I mean, that was the first time he literally had sat in the car, and manages to put it in the show easily. And here he is with 1 lap remaining. The only man he can't beat is the guy that nobody can seem to beat here at Texas, Kyle Busch. And there goes Reagan around Bliss. So Bliss has got a handful here. He's now back to 9th, and he may lose another spot. And that is all important in this championship points battle. Here comes the race leader and soon to be race winner. It'll be his 29th career win in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and 4 in a row here at Texas for Kyle Busch. Take a look here, and it's Mears in 2nd. Here comes the battle further back. That is Carl Edwards squeaking past Mike Bliss. So a very costly last 10 laps for Mike Bliss.
Awesome job, guys. What a way to put together a race car. Good job. Thank you.
Okay, that's checking 2 of them off the list this weekend.
No one has ever done the triple in the same weekend. And tomorrow will be his toughest test, without a doubt. 179 laps led. 6 times he has led over 100. He owns the place. Vince?
With Jason Ratcliffe. And Jason, there was a decision to be made there on that last yellow. 2 tires, 4 tires. You guys couldn't make a decision, so you took none. Were you concerned at all?
No, if he yeah, we were arguing about it. I'm like, man, I think 4 is the way to go. He's like, no, I think 2. And we couldn't agree, so he took none. But if he's confident enough in his race car to stay out there, then that makes us happy. We had a great Z-Line Designs Toyota today. We're happy to have the GameStop video game there, the WWE, what is it, Raw versus SmackDown 2010. Go to GameStop, get a copy of that. Awesome day, praise the Lord.
How do you explain the dominance of Kyle Busch here at Texas?
This is just a good track for him. You know, places like Charlotte, Atlanta, Texas, really good track, and this is a track that this 18 team's worked really hard on. This is my favorite track because I used to live just right down the road here. So to win 4 in a row, that's really special.
Team dominance today for the 18.
And he climbs out. He has now led, by my count, like 978 laps here in the 6 races. Unbelievable. Say what you want. The man can drive a race car. Take a look at the updated points because it is close. Carl Edwards is now down to 20 over Brad Keselowski, and the battle for 5th, a total of 13, now separates Justin Allgaier and Mike Bliss. Shannon?
Well, if the seat fits, Casey Mears can drive it. You proved it today. 2nd place finish. A little more downforce, a little less engine. Did you have some fun out there today?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know, it was an interesting scenario this weekend, but a lot of fun. I really appreciate Richard letting me drive this car, and I want to thank Holiday Inn and Chevrolet. And it was just a good time. You know, I haven't driven one of these cars in a long time, and Jeff said that he felt like I had one of the best cars I've had here all year. And track position meant a lot today, and you know, I was catching that 38 there at the end. He made a little mistake. I ended up getting by him, and I felt like we might have had something for him for the 18 if we could have just been there, you know. But it was a good day. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast.
Congratulations, Casey Mears, 2nd place. Dave?
3rd place with Jason Leffler, and never quit trying there at the end, so I get a little wall tap there. What was your day like?
Yeah, it was good. The first 2 runs were really tight. Scott Zibadelli, I can't thank him and my boys enough. Great clips. Everybody at Braun, Todd Braun, Ralph Braun, and guys did a great job for me today to run 3rd here at Texas. It's pretty awesome for us. I don't usually run very well here. And I got an Arrington engine under the hood that's helped. So I just got loose with like 2 to go. I was just driving, and I don't know why I was driving so hard. I was pulling away from the 29, and I wasn't catching the 18. I was just trying to run consistent laps. I think I ran over the apron a little bit, and about took me out of the race. But guys did a great job on pit road, got me up there. Great weekend for us, qualified well, and once we got the car adjusted up, it hauled butt.
Qualified 3rd, did a great job, Vince.
Brad Keselowski 5th today, his 15th straight top 10 finish. I know that consistency is something you look for, but didn't have quite the race car that you wanted there at the end, did you?
Yeah, we had a great car today. Just, you know, it looked like everybody from 2nd to 10th was about even, and the 18 car just has way more power than everyone else. So, you know, 18 and 20 both have good power. I don't know what happened to the 20 today, but it's unstoppable in this series because every race is a restrictor plate race. When you have power on mile and a half like this, we can't even touch them. You know, I got a couple bad restarts there through the middle of the race and hit what I thought was a really good one at the very end, and he just motored on by us by 3 or 4 car lengths, and you can't keep up when they do that. So all in all, we put in a good effort. We're right there with everybody else, but those 2 cars, they just got more motor.
Alan?
All right, Vince, thank you. Brad Keselowski 5th today. So as Kyle Busch pulls into victory lane, we tell you that his championship lead over Carl Edwards is now 272 points with 2 races to go. It is 15th or better at Phoenix next week, and the trophy is his for the NASCAR Nationwide Series in 2009. What a day for Kyle Busch. 2 days at Texas, 2 victories for him. And again, Kyle leading 179 of 200 laps to sweep the season here in the Lone Star State.
What a weekend it has been for Kyle Busch already. Kyle, 2 races, 2 victories. Tomorrow you're going for something nobody's ever done in NASCAR history, and you're doing it with a new crew chief. What are the chances, Kyle, as you hold your WWE belt?
That's I wanted to win this, not just get it. You know, they gave it to me, but I wanted to win it, so we won it today. But we out wrestled all these guys today with this SmackDown versus Raw Camry. It was flawless, man. Thanks Z-Line Designs, Jim and Monica. Of course, we'll see you guys in Homestead. That's going to be fun. NOS Energy Drink, Gillette, DirecTV, the fans, of course, Marquee Jets. All the guys on this team, man. It's this track's fun. I mean, it's fun when you have good cars, of course, but you know, these guys did a phenomenal job for me, and you know, Dave and those guys on the Cup side for tomorrow, they've done a great job too, worked their butts off this weekend, and I feel like we've got a decent car, maybe not a winning car right now, but a decent car where we can contend, and if the things fall our way, we could do it.
All right, well, he's doing everything he needs to do. Only 2 more races. He looks to wrap up his first ever NASCAR championship. Alan?
Kyle's 19th NASCAR National Series win in 2009. He's quite the star behind the wheel, and he is the lone star of this afternoon in Texas as Kyle Busch dominates and scores the victory. Tomorrow, it's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race here in Texas, the Dickies 500. Jimmy Johnson continuing his quest for a fourth consecutive championship. NASCAR Countdown kicks us off 2:30 Eastern on ABC tomorrow. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Kyle Busch, your winner.